Oh, currently. Like, at 5th level?
Hello, and welcome to another wonderful Wednesday night.
Check.
Guess what we're gonna do tonight?
Play Dungeons and Dragons!
Holy shit, that's right. That's exactly what we're gonna do.
What did I win? I won something.
You get to play. Yes! That's what you win.
You get to say an extra badass.
We are the Initiative Syndicate. We play Dungeons and Dragons on Wednesdays. Thank you for tuning in. If you're watching this in the future, thank you from our past selves to your present selves, which would be to our future.
Mm-hmm. What?
Yeah. Yeah, it just got like Back to the Future in here. Anyway, we are going to go around the table and give a brief recap of the characters, and then we will do a brief recap of the session last week, talking about where we are at for those who maybe missed it, and if you did, for shame, but we're on YouTube, so you can rewatch it there. And we're going to start clockwise like we always do, and start with my main man on the left over here.
How you doing? It's Elvin. Level 4, 3 Warlock, 1 Cleric. But they don't know.
Especially about the cleric one.
Yeah, exactly. Nobody knows about that.
Just multi-class Tenduka. Just casting healing spells for free. I feel like I deserved
Hey, badass, it's your turn.
Yeah, right.
So my name's Bill, and I play Rocky Bartholomew Brindlehide. He's a 6.5-foot tall, middle-aged Brindle Minotaur with a big-ass scar on the left side of his face. He's Paladin of Redemption Oath. He's got a badass glaive, badass horns, and since I get a bonus badass, he's a badass. I render the rest of my time. Badass.
You went over to badass.
Never had Red Bull last night. I had Red Bull.
Hi, I'm Jesse. I play Skriznut, your level 4 bard. I'm 3 foot tall, hairless, but I'm sexy as hell. And I'm about to rule this nation.
All right, I'm Rob.
Maybe.
I'm Rob. I'm our enchantment wizard, dark elf, Lizica. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, it's always
Man of mystery.
Yeah, baby.
I promise.
Not like Austin Powers.
When he gets to start talking about some more of his stuff, you guys are going to be like, oh, that's cool. Oh, that's super cool.
Wow,
Then they're probably going to kill you. I think the next thing will be one of them will probably try to kill you.
It's true.
I won't say names or anything. I'll just over there and point to him a little bit. But anyway, I am Kevin, aka Nictus, on many of the social media things. I am the Dungeon Master. I will be guiding this crazy troop of very fun, very awesome, very cool people through the world of Ravnica, which is where our game takes place. So, brief recap from previous session. They have recovered the Izzet scientist, Skriznut's father. More information about Skriznut's past has been revealed, that maybe his memories aren't accurate, that the trauma and experimentations that were done on him may not have happened in the way that he thought. And at some point, perhaps he was a brilliant scientist himself. With there being more questions than answers, and Skriznut not wanting to just accept the truth for what it was, or what it appeared to be, was hesitant. Angry and hesitant. And as they met more and more people basically confirming that he was very smart, he started to wonder if everything he knew about himself was a lie. They wandered into the Izzet Guild Hall, up the spiraling clockwork-type tower, into the upper chambers of Niv Mizzet, the Firemind, the Guild Master, and one of the oldest beings in Ravnica. An ancient red dragon who's been such an integral part of Ravnica's history since the beginning and the signing of the original Guild Pact. He saw the birth of this world, and he hopes to see it much longer than that. A brilliant mind himself, he always seems to have many gears in motion, many ideas in motion, many plots in motion, mostly for the betterment of Ravnica. He comes off a little bit arrogant, a little bit distant, but overall, his demeanor shows that he at least wholeheartedly believes what he's doing is for the best of Ravnica. Skriznet asked for a little bit more insight on some of his memories. And there happened to be a visitor within Ravnica who Niv Mizzet said might be able to help him. So, with some mental magic and a willing subject, Skriznet allowed a mysterious stranger in a blue cloak to delve into his mind. We left off inside Skriznet's mind.
Lost forever.
It's like the toy with the monkey and the symbols. And it's just,
Ching, 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 ching.
You're in this blank, empty room. It's completely white. Very visible. There are no visible light sources, but the room seems to be illuminated. It's a brilliant white, almost blinding at first, but your eyes adjust quickly, like when you look at the sun and then look away. You're able to see yourself from a top-down perspective. Your mind thinks, I want to move my hand, and you visibly see yourself moving your hand from a top-down view, like a puppet master controlling a marionette. You test out this new control of yourself and kind of wonder if that's really what you look like. When you see a stranger appear in this room with you. It is the mysterious blue-cloaked, blue-garbed, rune-covered mind mage. He walks up to you and pulls his hood back. He has an arrogance about the way that he walks, very confident, but not aggressive. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Jace Bellerin, and I'm going to help you get some truth, if you'll allow me.
I just stare at him and just nod like, yes, truth would be nice.
Well, the way that this works is we can go to different parts of your memory. No one else can see or hear what's going on, so you are free to gather this information for just yourself. It's just me and you in here. I have a bit of, we'll just say, I respect people's privacy. Being one who can wander into people's minds, I don't go around sharing their secrets, so whatever you see and hear is for you if you only want it to be for you.
Okay, do I have to like snap my fingers to begin, or what? How do we do this?
Just where would you like to go? What part of your mind would you like to go to? What memories are you trying to access?
I don't have any memories before the accident that I can recall.
So you don't remember your life before your accident?
Not one bit.
Well, I say we go back to the beginning.
That's a long time ago. Do we need... Alright, let's do it.
Very well. You see him raise his hands up to the sides of his head. His eyes illuminate with a brilliant blue pulsating energy that sort of pours out of his eyes upward like smoke and blue vapor coming out of his eyes. And for a second, the entire room flashes white, like you've just looked at the sun again. And within an instant, you are in what looks to be a house that doesn't look familiar to you. You definitely can tell that it is it in nature. There's a lot of metalworking, less wood in here. The floors themselves are wood, but the walls are made from what looks to be steam pipes. It's small, but surprisingly cozy. There's a Boilermaker type stove in the corner. The accommodations look modest, but comfortable. You see a young goblin crawling around on the ground. And you see a younger version of your father sitting at his desk on the far side of the room, scribbling away at something. And it's just the two of you. You assume that this goblin is you, the tiny goblin. You seem happy. You find some mechanical tools laying on the ground and you start trying to gnaw on them. You find something that seems to have some sort of an electrical component to it, and you gnaw on that, and it gives you a nice little jolt. And instead of what most people would say and assume would be a painful reaction, you seem to laugh. You seem to find it very amusing. So you bite it again. And your dad turns around and looks and goes, "Now, no, Skriz, no, you're gonna scramble your brain." And he picks you up and he gives you a hug. And you try to gnaw at one of his ears. Time seems to flash forward, like someone putting this image in fast forward. You skip ahead to you being able to walk and talk. Your dad is teaching you formulas in the same house. He's teaching you basic scientific principles of combining elements of arcana and electricity. He's teaching you all about blister coil technology and steam vents. And you're taking down notes. And it's almost like it's final exam day. And as you're giving some of the answers to these questions about the combinations of steam and lava and water and electricity, it seems like a foreign language to you, yet familiar. It's not a memory that you recall, but you start to look at this in a way that doesn't seem so unfamiliar anymore. You flash forward a little bit more. You're now inside your father's laboratory. You're having a conversation with him about this new technology that you came up with. You're showing him these pages in your journal. These diagrams and intricate sketches that you came up with. He tells you that he's concerned because you haven't slept in days. And he wants you to take a break. It's not that important, he says. We'll get there. You seem impatient. You feel that this is the single most important thing that you'll ever accomplish. the ability to teleport things in a non-magical means anywhere. It would revolutionize travel. It would revolutionize the trade industry within Ravnica. It might even open up the possibility of traveling to other worlds beyond the stars, you said. Not that you knew that there were other worlds, just it's always been theorized that there could be. That there might be other worlds out there besides Ravnica. There might even be other parts of the world of Ravnica beyond the city of Ravnica. You thought that this might be a way that you could help explore that. Figure out what happened to the ancestors that came before you. You guys get in a sort of heated argument about it. Because he tells you that you should sleep and come back at it with a clear mind. And you storm off. Flash forward what seems to be roughly the same time period, maybe a few days later.
Do I take note? Sorry. Do I take note of what my journal looked like?
Yes. It is a leather-bound book. The outside of it looks to be the leather seems to be dyed in a very, very, very dark blue, almost black color. There is a symbol embroidered on it. Not embroidered, I'm sorry. Like burnt into it. That looks to be your initials. Or initial. It looks like a modified form of the Izzet insignia with an S at the base of the dragon. In a weird way, this particular symbol, you just know that it's like your seal. You're not sure how you know that, but you feel very confident that it does. The book itself is stitched together with big, thick, rawhide pieces of leather. The pages are all scribbled upon. Parts of them are burnt. There's ink splotches on some of them. The book has been used. Flash forward these couple of days later. The lab assistant that you found when you came in, you recognize. Your father's assistant. You're having a conversation with him. You're telling him to fire up the transport machine. He tells you that it's a bad idea and he doesn't want to do it. That your dad will have his hide. And you tell him that you'll have his hide if he doesn't. He puts his hands up and fires up the machine. You get inside the cockpit. It looks like a round spherical object with a glass dome on the top. Along the edge of it is it looks like a metal set of gears that spin around on the outside. When the machine is activated, once you're inside, a second metal ring forms and flips up on the top and bottom. And they spin like buzzsaws. As they make contact with each other, there's a huge jolt of electricity that spins all the way around them, forming a large arc. He's behind some sort of a blast zone, getting ready to flip the switch, so to speak. Lightning is arcing all across the room in this almost bomb shelter type area. Reinforced steel. Within a second, the bubble is gone. The amount of energy that caused it to dissipate and disappear was immense. The walls of this building actually buckled as it pulsated out and then almost sucked in on itself, and then you were gone. Your memories from there are a little hazy. You're not sure why you can't quite get a clear picture, but you're in the middle of nothing. You're still in this cockpit. It's just darkness. You're not sure if you're moving, if you're floating, if you are doing anything. The metallic rings around you continue to spin. There's lightning and electricity arcing off of them still. but they seem to not shed light into the infinite darkness, not even in the immediate area around you. You travel for a while, or hover for a while. You're not sure. You start to panic. You start to wonder if you're going to die here. Part of you wants to turn the machine off and see if maybe you did land someplace. From above you and below you, there seems to be large streaks like a storm cloud, just for a second. And as you look, you see these massive, tentacled-like reflections coming through these storm clouds. And what you could swear are eyes. Massive eyes. Above you, below you, on all sides of you. The image terrifies you. Then your memory blocks out what happens next. You feel a slight pain in your mind because you're trying to remember this. And what you don't see is that Jace is trying to probe further into these memories, trying to get past this mental block. The next memory that you have, you're in a lush area filled with huge trees, huge valleys. It's green. You see your little pod, you see your little teleportation device. It's no longer powered on. The cockpit is open. And you're having a conversation with an elf. A female elf. She has long, dark, brown hair. She's dressed in green, almost nature-type colored robes. Pale skin. She looks fierce. She has a presence about her that she could end you at any second, and you know that, but you're not exactly sure how you know that. She seems terrifying, but kind. This memory in your brain seems to pause for a second, because the conversation doesn't seem to be replayed properly. You're not sure exactly what you're talking about. You feel a little bit more pressure in your brain. The memory fades. You're back in this white room again. And Jace is with you. He has a look of concern on his face. Well, that was unexpected. I'm not able to probe much deeper. It's like your mind does not want you to remember some of these things. I don't want to cause any permanent damage to you.
I think Skrizz's eyes are like glassed over, like if he's really remembered it. So, what brought the memories of what I thought of my father, like abusive and stuff? What were those implanted, or did they actually happen at one point, or was it in a different time? Why would I have recollections of that but not of this right there?
We can try to go deeper if you want. I didn't want to push past these mental blocks, though. I don't think that these memories of the nothingness and this lush world, I don't think they were blocked by someone else. I think that you're just not ready to deal with it.
I think I'm done for today, but are there more people like you that could probe into people's minds and thoughts.
I'm sure.
So is it a possibility that somebody put memories in my head?
There would only be one way to find out. The blocks for some of your memories are definitely put there by you. You don't want to know the truth, or you don't want to remember the truth. But I did feel an outside presence on some of the other doors to your mind.
Don't mind what I did right there.
You're so violent.
Out of character. I go get your mind flare costume.
It's not a mind flare.
Right.
Wink.
Yeah, so what's the other one? On the mind flare, the brain.
Time to, yeah, I think I'm done for now.
Okay. Well, relax, and we will exit. This should be painless.
It should be.
You take 20 psych damage. Okay.
Can you say it again?
Should be.
Yeah, you gotta love her. She's great. She just pops in every now and then.
Oh man. Denied.
Okay, so as you are closing your eyes and trying to relax, you feel what seems to be a calming wave of warmth kind of flood your entire body.
I pissed myself.
No, it's your whole body. And for a split second, you're hit with a rush of memories all at once.
Like all the stuff that he just probed.
No, it's new stuff.
New stuff.
You see yourself on a world where the moon encompasses all. There are terrors in the night. The humans flee from all sorts of monstrosities. You hear the baying of wolves. And from up in the sky, you see the outline of a massive angel. The dark creatures seem to fear this creature. You get the impression that she's some sort of guardian. Off in the distance, you see a dark-skinned elf-looking character with long white hair and red eyes, looking on proudly at this angel. And for a second he smiles, and you see sharp fangs. That image fades. Now, all this is happening in like almost rapid succession. The next memory you have is you coming back to your lab. Somehow your machine, you got it to work. You appear back in the lab. It's been a little while. You're not sure how long. You're razzled. You're frazzled. You're stressed out. You're going on and on about all these things and these other worlds, and you have to destroy these creatures between the worlds. You need to do one more test, seeing if you can weaponize this teleportation technology to stop the horrors and the monstrosities that you've seen. Your father tells you that you've gone mad. He seems genuinely concerned. He tries to talk you out of it. At some point, you design many more sketches of explosive devices that you could control in this. You had no way of from automatically driving it. It would require an actual pilot. You attempt one more experiment a few days later. Only something goes terribly wrong. You reappear out in the middle of the street near a building. You're in the wreckage of this pod. In the area around you is what looks to be where an explosion was let off.
So it worked.
Your legs are broken.
Mission accomplished.
You feel pain in your face, in your eye, more specifically. You look at your hands and they look charred. You look around at your surroundings and you see citizens and pieces of citizens. And maybe blood, you're not sure. There's screaming as your hearing starts to come back a little bit, because at first it was just ringing. A familiar face, Madame Madri, seems to come from nowhere to help you. These memories you recall. In those final seconds, though, before you regain consciousness from out of your mind's eye, you hear her say, "I have big plans for you and the information inside you." And that part of the memory you don't remember.
When I come to, I don't remember. Or
No, you
I don't
didn't. You didn't
from
remember.
My initial.
Yep. This is completely different than your actual recollection that you've had your whole life. You come to, and you're back in the area with all your friends. You're no longer under the hypnotic influence.
No, when he comes out, how does he look? Does he
He
look
looks
like
tired.
tired?
Is
Yeah.
he covered in piss?
Is he? Did he pee his pants?
So that's the first thing.
He did
he's
not pee his pants.
Like, he's like,
He definitely did not pee his pants.
I like to do like sleight of hand, see if I could slide over to check and see if I did pee myself.
Make a dex check. Make a sleight of hand check.
19.
You very, very slyly are able to check with no one even noticing.
I just go. Didn't piss myself.
How you feeling, Skriz?
I didn't piss myself.
It's
There-
weird. As you come to, you feel. You almost feel as though certain memories are starting to come back to you, and not just the past ones, but new ones.
Do I feel a struggle between the past memories and the ones like the past Skriznet and the future Skriznet? You know, the
Some of them seem
Current.
to be erasing.
like the current ones
Mhm.
that I thought were real.
Mhm.
Gotcha. Do I have any memory of still of some of the stuff that I saw, like of the mechanical part of tinker? You know, the is it part of me that was tinkering. And
The scientific parts of your memory, that stuff actually seems very familiar and comfortable to you.
okay.
Where at first, when you first went in, it seemed like they were speaking a language that you didn't really understand. But you're kind of looking around at some of the tinkering experiments within Niv Mizzet's lair, some of the mechanical experiments, and your mind, in a weird way, can look at it and kind of see how it operates. You may not understand all of it, but you have a pretty good idea that you could take that thing apart and put it back together again, no problem. You feel smarter. You've always been pretty smart, even for a goblin, but you feel a little smarter than you did when you went in.
Still tired though.
Very tired.
Yes.
You need a drink of water or something? You look like you just got the crap beat out of you.
I need that special drink that clears your mind.
I believe they call that water.
Water
It can have a
tower.
little bit of water in it. I need something else with it. You know, the stuff where they put the barley and the hops in it.
Yeah. Do you guys have any ice water?
I don't work here. Are you talking to me or the dragon?
Either way.
I don't work.
I don't do well.
Is he talking to Jace? Like, are you?
Well, I mean, I can. I haven't tried. Sure. Yeah, let's try.
Let's try.
So he looks around and he sees what looks to be some sort of an empty goblet sitting on the on one of the desks in there. Much too big for the dragon. You're not sure. Maybe it was a guest or something. There's something odd about it. It's a very basic wooden goblet with metal bands around it. So he points his head at his hand, or his hand at his head, and he holds out his other hand and he levitates the goblet to him and holds it. And he snaps his finger and it fills with water. He goes, well, it's not quite mind stuff, but he kind of gives a little wiggle of his fingers and it looks like little bits of ice fall down into it. Cool, I guess I can. Here.
Hey, that is pretty impressive. Here you go, Skriz. That's going to clear you right up to make you feel better.
I take it and I set it down for a second. And I pull my canteen off the side, and I'm like,
You don't need to put gravy in there.
no, I'm like, oh yeah, that's perfect. I need a chaser. You see me take a little swallow. I'm like, oh yeah,
That's the shit right there, yeah.
that's tiny. I feel a little bit better.
Yeah, I told you that ice water does the trick. It's good for you.
I'm good now.
Cool.
Yeah, the water was pretty cool. That ice helped.
Did you, when you did your mind stuff, did you get what you were looking for? You starting to remember stuff better?
Skriz got a couple things. He's taking notes. Number one, memory. Madame Madrid is not so cool as I thought she was. That's all I'm going to tell.
That's fair.
That's fair.
Hey, and it looks like, you got the number right. Number one, what comes after that?
Dude, what the hell?
You didn't know that before.
He's got a point.
Are you serious? I don't know how to count. Okay.
Wait, try to, I'll pull out like a piece of paper, I guess, because I have paper. I
Sure.
guess.
Yeah, why not?
And
Scan.
see if he can. Yeah, I have papers. And see if he can write anything down, like a full sentence. See if you can do some writing now. We've been working on reading and writing. Let's see if it's any better.
I'm just. Is he serious? Okay. And should I roll to see if some of his skills of writing have come back? I think he just writes an S. You know who I am. There's an S.
Can you write?
But I think where it's his first time in a while doing it, it's like a backwards S.
Yeah, the handwriting is a little shaky at first.
Hey, seems like you really are starting to remember. That's awesome.
I remember we have a couple missions to do.
Yeah, and we can keep working on this too. That is great progress. I believe we have to go to the water somewhere.
The water. Yep.
I look at Niv Mizzet. He's still in there,
Yeah.
right? Can I come back?
He slinks his neck down and looks at you and gets pretty much right up in your face curiously. Come back in what way?
To talk?
You are a curious one. You have seen things that interest me. So, yes.
I feel like when I asked that question, he was probably intrigued about coming back to the guild.
That's why he asked it that way.
Yes. So I'm not gonna bring that up, but yeah, I feel like right at this moment, staying in the current guild might help us in further endeavors. So,
I very much would like to sit and talk with you once you've had a chance to mend your mind. So please, come back and visit.
I look over at Jason. Will I be seeing you again?
He kind of looks at you in a not sure way. I'm not sure.
Good enough.
You know, I like it here. I'm not from here. But I could be. It's nice. The guild structure is a little different. But, I don't know. Niv seems to think that I have some great destiny ahead of me, but I think he says that to a lot of people.
All that mind reading stuff, yeah. When we have these little carnivals, yeah, the people pay big money for that.
Well, I don't think that's what he meant.
Okay,
I-
but
I-
that's something to plan. You can put that in the back of your mind.
I think
I'm
it's.
sure you'll remember it.
I think it's
you
because
can
of
get
some
it
of
in
the
your
other
mind.
things that I can do, but
Okay, like pie eating contest. Or doing
you're not the
knives?
only one who's been to other worlds.
Is the stuff that Skriz says, is that true? All those beings in between the worlds trying to come for us, just want to destroy Ravnica?
I think their focus right now is on Zendikar. But yes, it's very true. Everything he said is true.
Are they, so once they're done with Zendikar, they could move into Ravnica, like transfer between the worlds and come for us?
Possible. I think they're sort of imprisoned right now. I think it's more important to keep them imprisoned.
Yeah, I would agree. I hope it's a strong prison. Who imprisoned them? If these real strong beings?
I'm not sure. I have to go and investigate that a little bit more myself. I'm very curious in an elf that he met.
Long hair.
And
But
you
I
think
have
she
red eyes.
holds the key to
I do have red eyes.
knowing who imprisoned these people, or do you think she could be
She
the
might
one?
have definitely had a hand in it. I know that there are others of my kind. I've interacted with some of them, but they're sort of spread out.
Now, when you say your kind, what exactly you mean your kind? Who can go to different worlds or
Well, it
read
was-
minds?
It was explained to me that. How do I put this in terms that you'll understand? So, you're alive.
Yep,
I'm alive.
probably.
And at some point, something huge in your life shapes your destiny into the life that you're going to have.
So we're talking about the future now.
Well, I think we're just talking about your destiny. Your destiny was whatever it is that you do. I'm not sure. I'm still learning about your world. But at one point, you decided that this was the path that you were going to take. And here you are now. Had you chosen something different, your life would be different. Maybe you would be dead. I did almost die once. And my destiny made itself very apparent that it was not what I thought it was going to be, because something inside me woke up. They call it a spark. And now I have the ability to travel between worlds.
And you don't have to use, like... I feel like... Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So you don't, like, it's not just your consciousness that goes to different worlds, like an astral projection. It's like your whole being goes to different places.
Yeah, I actually leave here and go.
Wow.
I know that you're familiar or have seen people perform the spell plane shift.
I've heard of it.
So it's very similar to that. The only difference is that I can do mine at will. I require no means of doing it, and I've never had to have been there before to get there.
Wow, and no, it doesn't take like a big toll on your system to
Not
do
when
so?
you get used to it. It's no different than I don't know, walking a couple miles. Only it's really fast.
Wow, that's wild.
Not all of my kind are good people, though. They have aspirations, we'll say, and a couple of them, they're downright terrifying.
Do you know of any of these beings that are in Ravnica now?
I'm the only one here, as far as I know. I'd like to keep it that way, because, like I said, this is a really cool place. I think I could live here. I could call this my home.
Do you have like some sort of sense to see if there's others like you around?
Sometimes it's weird, yeah. We have like a... We sometimes can sense others of our kind. And Niv Mizzet seems to keep an eye on the world better than anyone here, so... He spotted me almost immediately. He knew that I was different.
Does it hurt when you go to different places? Like,
Nope.
I was just about to ask the same thing.
No, it happens so fast.
can you take other people with you?
Not in the sense that you think. I've learned that sometimes I can summon beings from other worlds once I'm there.
Oh, well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's not something I really like to do. It seems sort of mean to uproot something and welcome it to a new world I didn't want to be a part of.
Yeah, true.
Some others of my kind, they use this ability to fight each other.
So, when you leave to another world,
Yeah.
do you know where you're going, or
Sometimes.
is it a guess?
That pocket space dimension that he talked about, that empty void, the blind eternities, we travel through that. That's like a planeswalker's interdimensional highway. Whereas someone who's not a planeswalker there would see nothing but darkness. But a planeswalker would see millions of strings of lights. And we just catch one of those lights and go where we want to go. The lights that we've been to before are familiar. The lights that we've never been to before are not.
So did you end up coming here by accident? Like you didn't try to necessarily come here? It just
Yeah,
kinda
I
happened?
just, was out exploring the multiverse.
As you do.
If you had the ability, would you not?
Probably.
I've seen some pretty cool things. I've seen some pretty scary things, but I've seen some pretty cool things, yeah. There's some really neat worlds out there.
What's the coolest one?
Actually, this one is ranking right up there. It's a lot more civilized here than some of the other places I've been.
Yeah, but this one doesn't count because we already know this one.
It is my favorite.
Yeah.
Out of all the places I've been, this is probably my favorite.
The only one we know. But like outside of Ravnica, like what catches your fancy? What's really cool, or anything that's like would just mind blowing?
Well, the history of one, they say it's the first plane, the first world, and that all other worlds spawned from it. Dominaria. But Dominaria's history is a very complicated one. And I think that that's what makes it interesting.
Well, this has been enlightening. Thank you very much. We have we've got some water to see, so we probably gotta get going.
Can any of you breathe underwater?
I haven't tried in a little while, but last time I tried, no.
I don't think I can do that either. Maybe I can. I don't know.
But it seems like the limits are limitless for you.
The other things do take away from my strength. Walking between the worlds, a little less. Summoning, doing the mental things I can do. It seems to take a toll. I can only do so much of it for so long. I get a little bit stronger the more of it I do, but it's kind of like flexing a muscle. After a while, it starts to hurt.
Yeah, but it's like a good burn, right? Like, oh yeah, that's nice.
Sure, yeah. Feels great.
Well, anything to add there, Your Honor?
You noticed during this whole conversation that Niv Mizzet, normally distracted, looking around at other things, seemed very intent on your guys' conversation. Like, basically taking in everything you were saying.
Me or him?
Both. More specifically, he seemed interested in what you were asking Jace.
Cool.
Is this water place? Are we gonna have to swim? 'Cause I really can't do that.
They didn't really give us any
You could use a little
details.
finger float. Whee! They get paddle for you. How do you always get so touchy when I talk about your fingers?
Yeah, I do too.
Because they're mine, and don't touch them.
You told me I could one time. I still don't. Yeah, I
Once.
don't understand you sometimes.
Change my mind.
Yeah, you do. And speaking of, real quick before we leave, I do recall one memory that I'll bring up. In one of them, Mr. Jace, there was a guy that looked just like this dude right here, but with bangs, longer hair, had the red eyes, dark elf. And he looked a little bit scary. That's why I was,
I don't think I've had the pleasure.
no, from looking at him, there is no pleasure behind that.
It's possible that he could have been from that world. You're kind of describing a vampire, what
Yeah,
sounds
that's
like
what
to
it
me.
looks like.
But you have vampires here.
I don't know. This one was a little different to me.
Maybe he's one of my kind. That would be interesting. A vampire planeswalker.
Yep.
Hey, go places.
And I just pissed myself. Thanks a lot. There we go.
Well,
I'd like to chat with that guy. I bet he's got some stories. Anyway, I have, things to do. I'm going to learn a little bit more about your world and maybe find a place to live here. Because I think this is going to be my new home.
I don't know if they have this in other planes, I assume, but what do I know? If you have the chance, sausage, gravy, and biscuits is a game changer. It,
I pulled my can. I got some right here for you.
not that.
Don't-
You don't
don't.
want that one.
I just ate. Thanks, though.
Good call.
You're lost.
Nice
But
save.
like fresh sausage, gravy, and biscuits.
Yeah, this is less than 4 days old. Still good. You don't want to eat it after 8. It gets a little sour.
Well, the face you made drinking it earlier already tells me it's too sour.
That means it's perfect. It's at peak performance there.
Well, I'm happy for you.
Oh goodness.
What's up with that face you're making, Rocky?
Oh, just thinking about your sour ass gravy. Oh. Boros puts on a good breakfast, kind of buffet style every morning. If that real good gravy there. I'm sure they let you in. Tell them.
Tell
know.
Skriznet sent you.
Don't tell them that. Then you won't get in. There's a guy who watches the gate. His name's Jeff. Just tell him that Rocky sent you over for the gravy.
Jeff's a dick.
Jeff is a dick, but
He's got a pocket watch. That means he's a dick.
Yeah, he knows what time it is.
but he respects the gravy.
Ass whoop.
Good tips. I wasn't planning on joining a guild, though.
Well, you don't have to join to eat breakfast.
But if I was going to lean more towards one, it'd probably be Is It.
I know many Is It people. Skriz. Graz. Niv.
I'm not is it?
I said Skraz.
But you pointed at me.
I went like that. Well,
Yeah, I'm still learning this world, so I'm going to assess my situation and I don't know. Like I said, I like it here. But good luck to you. Maybe we'll meet again. Maybe we won't.
possible.
Maybe I'll summon you to another world. Ah, I'm just kidding. I wouldn't do that.
Well, have me home by dinner. The wife's gonna kill me.
I understand. Well,
Not if there's another fire. Oh, sorry.
Wow.
Too soon. Too soon.
I'm gonna start walking out on that.
he walks out towards the balcony area and he sort of levitates over the city.
Nice.
So he just steps out there. And, now you're gonna fuck. Okay, sweet. All right, what are we doing?
We gotta go and find this Simic lab that sunk.
We got the Simic Lab. We got the dead trees. We got look for Tormund.
Yep.
We don't have much leads for Tormund, so
Yeah, we really don't know what to do about him, but I think next on our agenda was the Simic lab. It fell into the ocean. We gotta figure out why.
yeah.
Then I can get these board tusks put in.
Well, if it fell into the ocean, we might want to try and find a way to breathe underwater.
Yeah, we can see if we can find some potion shops or something along the way.
Sure.
What time of day is it right now? It's pretty late.
I don't remember.
No, I don't feel like it's late.
Not late.
It's like midday.
Well, if we go to a potion shop, he can get another free one.
Yeah, you just have to ask.
Nobody. It's awesome.
Nobody.
Just ask
Don't
your.
give away all my secrets.
I'm gonna be watching you at our next potion shop.
Okay.
Guess it's my turn. He's only watching you, so.
So we are.
Next shop, I'm just gonna slip one right into his pouch. Like, what the hell you got there, Rocky? There's a bulge in your pants.
So heading to. Is there like any? I guess would we know if there's any potion shops or anything on the way to the Simic hybrid labs?
I think the only potion shops.
Or,
The only potion shops that you've been to were in Precinct 3.
yeah.
Yeah, by the Selesnya, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So is Scraznit still in there?
Yeah, he's still with you guys.
Has anybody ever thought of making a underwater breathing device?
Well, I mean, of course we have. How do you think the non-water breathers get around in the Simic area?
How do we come about getting a couple of those?
Well, they got some pods. They're like underwater little pods, but I mean, it's a pretty basic potion. I think that the Simic have come up with a way for non-water breathers. They have some areas underneath it there that are not completely underwater, but there's a lot of merfolk down there. Well, and some other things.
So we could get the stuff we needed near the Simic.
Sure, yeah.
Perfect.
Sounds good. Let's go.
Let us leave.
So you're going to, well, about the most easily accessible area would be in Precinct 5. Not too far from the main guild hall.
So if we step out here, we should be able to catch a ride.
Oh, sure, yeah, you should be able to catch a flight to, well, probably the closest area would probably... See, there's no flights that actually go to the Simic Guild Hall, like outside, because the Simic Guild Hall is underwater.
Makes sense.
But we can get you near it. Maybe the library.
Sounds good.
That works.
I'm gonna hang out here, though. I'm kind of under, not really house arrest, but Niv Mizzet thinks that it would be best if I don't go back to my lab
That's fair.
until this whole thing kind of gets sorted out. And I agree. What happened to my assistant?
Yeah, where's that guy at?
Didn't he just leave? He just left the bar that night.
Yeah, I think so.
What's his name again? I forgot.
Did he give you his name?
Yeah, I think
don't even know
so.
if he did.
I have it somewhere.
I didn't see him at the shop.
No,
I think he just stayed at your lab after we left.
He went back to the lab?
Yeah, he helped us get in there, I think.
I gotta get a hold of that guy. Like, he's gonna have to come here. We're gonna do some more of our work here.
Yeah, because we took him to the where we stay at, the Spiral, the Silver Spire.
Yeah, and I thought he left after that.
And he just left, and we
he-
heard nothing of him again.
Or I wrote his name down.
This, I thought
Are you sure that's how that went?
You know, I got good memory. I think that's the way it went. I'm not
Like to
sure.
check?
I'm not
Yeah.
positive.
It was like Ichabod or something like that. What was his name?
Ichabod?
Yeah, that's what it was.
So at 15, I don't know.
He believes what he's saying. Ichabod. I don't know why Ichabod would have went back to the lab, but maybe he was getting some notes or something. You might want to stop back at your house.
My house? I got a house?
Well, I mean, yeah, before your accident, yeah. I mean, you lived somewhere.
Okay.
Yeah, I just thought you might want to go and.
Can you point me in the right direction? I'm having trouble recalling where that place is. But that was not one of the memories that got popped back up.
Yeah, I can take you. Sure, yeah, that's no problem. It's probably a little dusty in there.
That's fine.
I don't think you had a maid. Is it scientists, right? Like, we change the world, we don't make any money. It's up to them, to the damn Orzovs, you know, they have all the money.
Yeah, damn Orzovs.
Yeah.
And their finger puppets.
Hey, listen,
that's
those
just
Orzovs, most of them are creepy as fuck anyway. No offense.
And not taking the finger thing's my thing. It's like my staple.
Also, all of you don't do that?
No, just me. That I know of.
Normal. Okay.
No, but they do then delve in a lot of other weird shit. They love money, like above all else. They don't care about people. They don't care about their souls. Hell, they indenture souls to work for them forever that they can't pay off their debts.
Alright, I guess we'll go back to the room, see if there's anything of need there, and...
I don't know. Maybe go in there, something might jog your memory. You might remember some more stuff.
Okay.
Hopefully, nobody squatted in there. I mean, you've been gone a while. I think if it was one guy, you guys could probably take him, though. You guys are pretty tough.
Now you make me worried what's in there.
It's probably not a monster.
Mind flare. That was our chance.
Intellect devourer spawning bed.
Oh god.
Jumps into bed, it's a mimic.
Mimic
Home sweet
That's
home.
terrifying.
Alright, yeah, I guess we follow him to the pod.
So, you all bid Niv Mizzet farewell. He nods with a mutual sort of respect and seems to go back to studying and looking out the window over Ravnica with some books and stuff still levitating around him. As if nothing happened. Little machines go back to doing their organizing of papers and putting things in and out of drawers. And you leave. The mechanical doors close behind you, and you make your way out of Nivix. The marvel of this building is something that some of you never thought you'd actually get to see firsthand. And some of you will probably get to see again.
Yeah, Wall, we're looking at you.
So, you're heading to Precinct 5, yes?
I thought we were heading towards the pod.
The house.
Or were we going towards his house? Where's that at?
Oh, so you want to go to the dormitory areas. Skrasnit leads you for what feels like several blocks, if you can actually call the areas within these designated blocks. The street corners have been completely overrun with labs and extra steam pipes and these like little tiny pods and bigger pods all stacked up on top of each other. It's very mechanical. It's very methodical. It's impressive, but it doesn't seem very warm. It doesn't seem very like anyone would want to live here. It serves a purpose, and that's about it. You go down for what seems like a few blocks, and there's a small little pod in the midst of several other pods with all of the lights off inside. The outside of the building it's got some rust stains on it. Doesn't seem like it's been maintained very well. And it's on the ground with other pods stacked above it. To a person just passing by, it would just look like another piece of the wall. You're kind of looking at it, and it seems familiar but not comfortable to you, if that makes sense.
Well, that's the one right there, the one with the lights off. I think I got the spare key here that you gave me, and
He's fumbling through some stuff in one of his bags.
yep, yeah, it's yeah. Here we go. Let's go on inside. Let's check it out.
Before we walk inside, I'm like, just in case somebody's in there, I don't want to disturb them, and I'm kind of hesitant about going in there. I'm like,
The metal door clangs and echoes as you knock on it, even quietly. There's no response.
Good, it's not a mimic.
God,
My hand's stuck.
paranoid. I'm about to throw at least one more in on you way later in the campaign.
Oh,
just,
yeah.
just because.
yeah. So
The
slowly,
next time I decide to fucking spark and kick
Megan.
a door, it's gonna be a Simic.
Every time that he tries to do something cool, I'm just gonna shit all over it. He's like, "I'll smash this door." Ah, no, not again.
Another gun.
I just slowly open the door.
The door, the hinges are a little bit rusted. They creak and squeak, little as you open it up, and it's just basically like one big round open room. As you walk in, a light in the top of the dome seems to detect the motion in the room and lights up with a continual light spell. You're not sure if it's mimicked technology or borrowed technology from mages, but it's a simple enough spell, and most of Ravnica is lit by continual light spells anyway, but one that has detected motion is definitely different.
I have I recall what the journal looks like, and I start digging around the room for it, see if I can find it anywhere.
You don't have to dig very hard. It's laying on top of your desk. It's cracked wide open.
Damn, everybody's looking for this thing in the first place we find it. These guys are horrible.
Well, I mean, if you think about it from a conspirator and murderous intent, would it be in the most likely place? It'd be in some vault somewhere, right? That's what a bad person would think. Why would it be in the spot that it shouldn't be?
So, if you had the key the whole time,
Well, I never came in here. This is your house. It's not my house.
you didn't even, like, get curious to look for this journal?
Yeah, but listen, I'm brilliant. But maybe you're smarter than I am. You put it in the one spot that no one would actually go to look for it because it shouldn't be there.
Does it look like, with the book open, is it covered with dust, or does
Yeah,
it look like
it's
was
dusty.
Okay, so not.
It looks like it hasn't been messed with in a while. In fact, nothing in here looks like... There's dust on the floor. Nothing in here looks like it's been messed with in a while.
I go over, slam the journal shut, and stick it in my pouch.
Okay.
You also have to remember that not everyone knew where you lived. It's not like you had a mailing address or a post office. Like you were at the labs most of the time. You were very private about your private life.
As I put it in my pouch, I like second guess, and I'm like, everybody's looking for this.
I would say that is probably one of the most sought after items in Ravnica currently, yeah. Well, and your brain.
So if I carry this around, I'm just making it easier target to grab it.
Will you want me to carry it for you?
I think
So, like
that
I said,
it would probably be safer with you than laying in your house.
I mean, we had the bag of
No,
holding.
but how? Don't you have to get a special pass to get into Nivix itself?
You don't think that there's corruption within the Izzet?
Yeah, that's true.
We're very logical people, right? So we're not the most easily corruptible because the only thing that we really want to do is, well, science. So money doesn't hold a lot of interest to us, and taking over the world, we don't really care about that. We want to make bigger explosions. We like lightning and fire and water and steam, and so most of the people that have aspirations are very mad scientisty, not world domination.
I just let it drop in my pouch. I'm like, yeah, I'll keep it on myself. One last thing. Who makes the watches around here? And do you know who's acquired these?
Well, I know that the watches, there's, probably one of the High Artificers makes them within the Izzet. The average person couldn't make something quite so complicated. Because of the means to power it, it's a powered device like the little lightning stones you saw, but they're miniaturized. They're very small. They're very intricate. It's difficult. Not that it can't be done. It's just that the process is expensive.
And I don't see it as an item that's, I'm sure it's sought after, but at the same time, there's not many of them out there.
It's sort of a item of prestige, so to speak. Like if you have one, it either means 1, you're super wealthy, 2, you're super smart, or 3, someone felt that you were one of those 2 things and gave it to you. Or you're really dangerous and you killed somebody that had one.
Do you have... So, we have to leave. We got to get these done. If I left you with the task maybe to get a list of people that might have this watch, like a buyer's list maybe?
Well, I know that they've given some out as retirement from the Izzet and to high officials, but I'm sure they've only made a limited amount of them. But it could be a few hundred people. But Ravnik is big. That's not very many people.
Yes, but I just have a couple people in mind and see. So
I can look into it or have someone look into it very discreetly.
yes, and we'll be back to follow up.
Okay?
So after asking him that, like, Chris is like still torn from the memories in his head, and so he's like, God, that feels weird. Thanks, Dad. I do like the weird. I don't know how to do that.
You don't
Yeah, like,
we don't really do that.
oh sweet, cause that's awkward as hell. Handshake, or do we like?
He kind of gives you like a rough of the head, like kind of ruffles your head up, not knocking your crown off, just and kind of gives you a pat on the back, like,
I bet you'll find some pretty cool stuff in that book of yours. You used to write down about all kinds of little experiments and stuff. Maybe it'll help you in your journeys. Maybe it'll help you get back that party, and I really hope that it does, because you're brilliant.
We'll check it out.
Anyway, yeah, get out of here. Good luck.
Just turn around, start walking towards the exit.
I'm gonna lock your house up. Just so you know.
Okay. I gave him the key back.
okay.
I think when you're coming back out of your room, Rocky is probably like dusting some of the high to reach places, like trying to tidy up a little bit. Are we leaving?
What are you doing?
Well, it was dusty.
Maybe it's serving a purpose.
My allergies would not like this place if we were in here real long. I wasn't sure how long we was gonna stay.
Okay,
Look, the top of that ledge has never been dusted before. You're welcome.
thanks, man. Man, I'm sure I would have just. Never mind. I'm sure I would have seen it, and it just bugged me laying in my bed at night. Since we're not busy, just chasing people around, and I get to sleep in this place a lot. Yeah, thanks a lot. Okay,
You're welcome. Onward.
let's go.
So it's about midday. Where would you like to go?
I guess find a ride to the 5th district. Yeah.
To
Okay.
the
Precinct
library,
5.
they said was the closest.
Yeah.
The Izmiri Library.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is a place that Lizica and Elvin have been before.
Do we know about the debacle? I don't think we do.
Not about the... No, you know we went there, but I don't think you really know what happened.
Okay.
So,
We saw some shit.
what are you doing as far as the transportation fee?
Probably doing a full day again, right?
I don't really know if we'll need it, because we might just be in the... I mean, we'll be underground.
Yeah, but if we finish this up real quick, we
Yeah, we need to
Fly
quick
bass.
ride out of here.
I guess.
fly back to the guild hall.
I can't come off of one gold piece. I'm sorry, man.
No. Too much. That's fine.
Yeah, I think we get the full day pass. That seems like a good idea.
So, Precinct 5 is to the west of where you currently are.
And how much is it? A gold for the bird?
Yeah.
For the whole day, yeah, it's a gold.
Down to 615.
There is not a lot of direct street paths that lead to the next precinct to the west. Flying is the easiest way to get there. You take your rocks and you fly over the city. You look down on it, and to those who have never been in Precinct 5, directly below you, you see the steamworks and lava coils of the blister coils, which seem to power and heat most of the city. You know that this is just a series of homes, dormitories, underground and above ground piping. It's as much a scientific marvel as a magical marvel. While Ravnica does not get blisteringly cold, it does help keep it warmer for the little bit of cold that the city and world do experience. As you fly past the blister coils, to the west you see the high spires and peaks of the Prism University and an area known as the High Tower, and below, the Izmiri Library. But underneath of you is a massive aqueduct. It almost looks as if part of the ground itself was swallowed up in a sinkhole. It's multi-layered. So there is a layer of like a ledge around it, and there are buildings. There are these massive waterfalls that the water seems to drain and come from someplace you're not sure where, and dump down into this, it looks like a huge pool. It's not just feet across, it's miles across. You look down and you see all sorts of aquatic creatures swimming around. They look very small from the vantage point that you're at. They look like they could be fish, maybe whales, you're not sure. But it's very busy. There are a lot of lights in the middle of this pool. And the depth of the water seems unknown. The buildings that line the outline, or the lower level of this massive pool, seem to have small man-made aqueducts that all seem to flow and drain off of it. The water seems to come from below and up and back down in a continuous cycle. This seems to be the most empty but most purposeful part of any part of Ravnica you've seen, where there is no actual city here. It's just water. You've heard of the Simic. You know of some of the things that they do. their geneticism, their modern marvels in medicine, as was their main task from the bit of history that you've learned from the Guild Pact. They have a very logical approach to much of what they do. Emotions do not fuel them, do not control them. At times, they're considered cold, like the fish in the sea. But clearly, that's not entirely true, or they wouldn't do what they do, which is to prolong people's lives. Everyone, not just people within the guilds, but all of Ravnica. The sound of the water crashing into the pool as you approach the Izmiri Library, which hovers on the west bank of this massive Zonat, is what it's called.
So the rocks are huge, right? And we're like carried in a basket, or are we on its back?
You're on the rock. It's like a big ass bird. You're on its back.
And we're all like just like stacked up behind each other, or
Yeah.
okay. I'm just curious. I forgot how we.
I mean, it's not like it's the most comfortable ride,
Yeah.
but yeah, not all of you are big, so.
I feel like I'm sitting right behind Rocky, and we hear all this water gushing. I'm like, Rocky, I gotta pee. I gotta pee, Rocky.
Hold it. Don't make me pull this rock over.
Please.
No.
Okay, I'm thinking of other stuff.
Think of like.
Just don't look down at the
feathers.
water.
Like flying, I don't think bothers Skrizen. It's not the flying part. It's just hearing the water. Like, not gonna think of water. Not gonna think of water. I got pee.
The dome-like structures, as you reach lower down into it, you see that there are pools that then drain off into this large sinkhole as you get closer to it. The buildings that surround the outside and the upper, what would be considered the upper layer of this massive hole, have small spires of green metallic colors, and the domes are topped with blue and sea green filaments of metal. I'm going to show you guys a picture in a second, just because I feel like I'm describing this, and I feel like I'm doing a really good job, but I want to make sure that you are seeing what I'm saying.
I feel like it's a complex. There's a lot that goes into it.
It's a very, very complex thing.
Yeah.
So I know that you all have the picture in your mind, and now I'm going to show you what I'm trying to describe to you.
Looks like a jacuzzi.
Oh
All you
my.
had to say was Rivendell. Futuristic Rivendell. That's pretty awesome.
So any of you that have a picture of the map of Precinct 5,
Yeah.
you'll see exactly the area that I'm talking about, as in all this stuff kind of pours off down into the middle of it. And this pool is massive. You reach the Izmiri Library. The rock flies off. And you notice that the citizens in the area notice you.
Not again.
Like, so, is there a little alley beside the library?
I will say yes.
It won't matter.
I jump off the rock. I'm like, oh God, get out of the way! And I run towards the alley real quick.
They don't seem hostile, but it's like they took notice of you being here.
Like, all of us are just like a goblin itself.
All of you.
Watch out, Rocky! I go to the side alley.
It's very weird, because it seemed like the citizens, as you were flying in, they were going about their daily lives. They were walking to and from, chatting pleasantries amongst each other. But it was almost like when you walk in on a conversation that you're not supposed to have walked in on. And they all kind of just stop and kind of look at you just for a second. And then they try to go back to what they were doing.
I don't think Skriz notices it. He just running towards the alley, and I'm gonna, as bonus action, I'm going to hide so he don't get stage fright. And I don't want nobody sneaking up on me.
As you go into the alley, you are kind of like looking back to, see if anyone notices you, and you walk right into a hooded figure.
Damn it!
Hook, line, sinker.
What? Can you please move?
You don't belong back here.
What is back here? I was looking. Okay, you want me to leave?
Was it not implied?
I have. Son of a bitch. I guess. Yeah, I'm leaving right now.
This person is wearing basically almost all entirely black clothing and is wearing a long black hooded cloak. They look human.
I want to keep an eye on him, and I just slowly back out.
Have a good day, sir.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
What's your passive perception?
All the way down.
Perception 11.
Your passive perception is 11.
Yeah.
What's your passive perception?
13.
How about you?
10, I think.
Okay. So none of you noticed this except for Lizica. He notices that the person in the robe makes some sort of a weird hand gesture, in almost like a sign language or something.
To Lizica?
No,
No.
he makes it to someone that you don't see, or something that you don't see. And then he seems to just walk back into the shadows of the alley.
Sounds like we'll never know about it.
Did I recognize the jester at all?
Yes.
I walk back. I'm like, people are fucking rude around here.
I'm going to text it to you because I don't want to get up and do whispers today.
God.
I'm tired of this. We should kill him.
What backstory?
Feel like this.
Now I'm like just looking. I'm like,
It's a good time.
hopping back
Okay.
and forth.
So I sent it to him, and we're good.
Why are you guys both leaving? They both just left.
And then only one of them comes back.
So Scritch tries to find another little spot to duck behind.
There's not very many easily visible alleys back through this way.
Is there like a little edge that leads over to the water that
Yeah.
you can? Scrizz goes to the edge of it. Just to see what people do.
You're just going to the edge
I
of
had
the
to
water.
fall through. I already said I was gonna piss, so yes. Can't just stop. Scrizz just goes to the edge of the water and grabs hold of a rail, and he's like,
So
There's just a merfolk.
you're kind of pulling your pants down or pulling your whatever out, and as you do, you feel a very firm hand on the back of your shoulder. That's not for that.
I have a condition. Where can I go, please?
There's a building right there for that. And he points to what looks to be the nicest outhouse you've ever seen in your life.
Oh, okay. See that guy over there? He told me to come over here. Like, there was a guy in the alley told me to come over here. So, I'm new to here.
This person is a completely different person in a black robe and black garb. They look Vidalcan.
Like, do you all dress the same around here? Okay, I start.
We are the keepers of the library.
Then who was in the alleyway?
He is a keeper of the library.
Oh, okay.
There are many secrets within the library that must be protected.
What are you looking at me for?
I guess the bathroom's secret to everybody, too.
Well, it actually says restroom.
Oh.
And then as you look over, you go, yep, it sure does.
You're like, damn.
Which is weird because
Now I can understand
you
it.
actually can read it.
I'm like, damn. Oh, that's what that says. Well, I thank you. And I'm heading over there.
Have a good day, sir.
I will. As soon as I can take it. I run to the restroom.
Okay.
Hey, if I get in this restroom, there's not going to be more guys in here in black cloaks watching me, are there? Like, I don't want to be going like in down a hole and a head pops up. You can't do this, sir.
You're not supposed to be back here.
Never mind.
So you go in there and there's no one else in there. It's just you. It's very nice inside though. It looks like the wood and maintenance of this is kept up. It's very clean. It doesn't even smell very gross.
It's the woman's restroom. Oh no.
Little cologne. I'm like, wow, that's nice.
Yeah, it's really nice. I like that.
I come back out. Okay, I'm good, Rocky. Let's go.
What the hell is that smell?
I almost pissed myself.
You see several of these very similar black robed and black cloaked figures coming in and out of the library like nonchalantly. It's not like an army of them or anything. Just some are coming in, some are going out.
I feel like these guys would know what's going on, so...
Yeah, Liz. Why don't you tell them what's going on? Remember last time we were here, you had a talk with somebody.
Yeah, I kind of remember that. I don't know.
But you don't know. I remember it. I don't know. Make up your mind.
I said I kind of remember it. I don't exactly
Well, you
remember what
tell your
happened.
version first.
What were we? We'd be in... I mean, these guys are kind of creepy, not gonna lie. Were we being, like, chased down an alley or something?
Yeah. So, I don't remember much. But there was. It felt like somebody was chasing us, but when we looked around, there was nobody there.
Yeah. And didn't we, like, run into someone?
Yeah. If I remember right, I mean, I couldn't see much of his face.
You seem to feel as though, while no one is directly looking at you, you all seem to get the impression that you're being watched.
Mm-hmm.
Getting that feeling again. Yeah, just ran into the guy with no face.
This whole area kind of creeps you out a little bit.
Yeah.
Just this particular near the library, for whatever reason, just seems to really creep you out.
Do these guys in the black robes, are they wearing like any insignia or anything? Like, do we know who they are? If they're part of a group or something?
Not that you can tell.
The library group. The library.
To you, they seem like they would be guiltless.
Well, do we want to go into the library?
I mean...
Are we allowed in there? Because those
Yeah.
guys are awfully, like...
Yep.
I mean, we didn't do anything wrong when we were here.
No, we're allowed in there.
From what you know, the library is open and welcome to everyone who wants to learn.
Yeah.
And it's open. It's one of the only things in Ravnica that's open all the time.
How much were those spells the last time we were here?
Pretty sure it was 1,000 gold for one spell.
I mean, if it would help us, I mean, I'd chip in my portion.
Well, we'd all have to decide on a spell, but if we need one, we can come here. Off the top of my head, I can't think of one that I need at the moment.
Okay.
I know what some people need around here. They could do a healing spell. That'd be great.
Unfortunately, I don't have very many options for those. I have one.
Do you got resurrection?
Not yet.
Revive?
I'm not powerful enough to use that, even if I did have it.
I think they're trying to tell you you need to multi-class into cleric
It's,
or druid.
maybe eventually.
Battle cleric.
So are we going into the library?
I mean, if we need anything, I mean, if you need a spell,
I mean, we need to know where to go to...
I mean, we could always ask. I'm sure they'd know where we need to go. At least, the very least.
Okay. Like I said, let's.
I mean, I
Yeah,
could
we'll
look.
just go over there.
Could look
I
at
mean,
potential
there's already
spells.
People watching us, they can all hear, and I just get louder when I say it. Like, let people know. Like, we understand.
We're on to you.
So,
Yeah.
Very well.
So,
You walk up the steps to the main portion of the library. This building is very well maintained, very clean. It reminds you a lot of the Chamber of the Guild Pact, in that other than having a like almost copper type dome structure, this seems to have a dark blue, almost stone type dome on the top of it. As you enter inside, the steps. The marble polished floors, and there are huge columns inside. Floor to ceiling bookcases. Many more of these black robed figures seem to be walking about, almost monk like in their approach with some of their robes with their hands, and they seem to almost look at this place as like a sacred place. It's massive inside. Very well lit. There are metal filigree ladders that you can ascend to reach the higher parts of the bookcases. The room itself is very circular shaped, and you're able to go up different floors where you can walk across. There are some that are roped off that with little areas and like little signs on them that clearly say restricted. There are some office doors in between some of the bookcases on all the floors. The number of floors, there's probably 6 floors from what you can tell. And on the ground floor where you're at, and on every level, there seems to be some tables. Really nice tables with some chairs where you're able to sit and read and do research. What do you want to do here?
So for me, I'm gonna go up to one of the hooded figures and ask them for some kind of like suture book, like to learn how to do sutures on people. See if they have something.
So you approach one of the librarians. It's an older human, but still with that same sort of very calm demeanor. May I help you?
Oh, yes. Oh, you're scary. Do you?
My apologies.
It's not your fault. Blame your parents. Am I right? So.
Indeed.
I'm looking for a medical book.
Of course.
With, an anatomy of all different types of creatures and how to sew people up.
Like, you mean a surgical book?
Yeah. Simple surgery.
Okay. You don't really strike me as the surgical type. Are you maybe taking up a new hobby? Taxidermy, maybe?
Yeah, taxidermy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yes.
Just all look at
Yeah,
it.
we're like,
I can show you some basic books on surgeries, medical surgeries. Nothing complicated, mind you, but
He's dabbling in it. I'm just waving fingers.
but amputations and proper techniques, absolutely. Right this way.
Oh, thank you.
He takes you across to an area on the lower level. It's maybe 60 feet in from where you're at now. You walk past some tables. Some non-hooded people are in this area too. They just look like normal citizens. Some from other guilds you recognize. Some people from the Selesnya are in here. They look very dryad-like. Some elves from the Golgari are in here. You recognize their insignias, and they're just in here reading books. They're just learning some stuff. So he takes you over to the medical area, or you're assuming it's the medical area, and he's like, now let me see. I believe that, yes, I think that this book right here will suit your needs. Ha ha, suit your needs. Ha ha.
Yeah, what a knee slapper. Thank you, I appreciate it.
He's got one level.
harsh
of bar.
crowd.
Some people just have no appreciation for the comedic arts. And he pulls out this very small. It's a small book, entirely paper. There's no cover to it really. It's a hand drawn cover. It has what looks to be it looks like a human skull drawn and etched on the outside of it, and the title of the book is Basic Biological Anatomy.
Yeah, so on the paper, is there any kind of like drawings of like
Many drawings.
Okay.
They're all hand drawn.
So just kind of thinking in like my head, feeling kind of devious. Oh, you're not supposed to cut that far up the calf if you want to retain most of the meat.
I wouldn't know, sir.
You wouldn't get it. It's not. I'm taxidermist.
Got it.
Yeah.
I wasn't implying that I do not understand where to stick a man with a knife. I was only implying that I don't know anything about desecrating a body. And he kind of gives you a grin that makes you feel very uneasy.
Like a square body, like a rodent.
Like all bodies.
Is it like a knowing
He kind of
look?
gives you the impression that he stabbed a man before.
I believe you. No. Yeah, like I said, I'm just doing bodies,
Yeah, those eyes are
rodents, deers,
stupid.
big animals, small animals.
That's what it starts out at, I've heard.
You know, it is a fun hobby. You can tons of room for growth.
Indeed.
You know what? I'll make your mother a rug someday.
My mother's dead.
Not a good start. Not a good start.
Probably not. I killed her.
Well, why'd you do? And you know what? I'll get you a rug. Do you want one of her?
She wasn't a very nice person.
I'm like, you're a fucking delight too.
Is there anything else I can help you with, sir?
Now, no, no, I'm okay. Yeah,
Have a good day. He turns,
you too.
and you don't notice, but Lizica does. He makes a hand gesture to someone off in one of the upper levels.
Same one or different?
Different.
I poke Elvin and I'm like, man, these
Do
guys
I
are
recognize
really
this one?
creeping me
You
out, man.
Oh boy, here we go again.
Do we notice the signs? Or probably not. I'm more like, God, I don't like the really nillies around these guys.
I sent it to you, so.
Yeah, I mean that dude has no mother.
He killed his own mom. Damn.
I mean, that's too much. That's weird for me. But I've never killed mine.
You know what? I would like to get out of here as fast as possible.
I think that's probably a good
So
idea.
let's ask your questions about this sunken lab and get the hell out of here. What do you think? Where's Rocky at?
I had to use facilities. Here I am. Did you guys find out any information?
Yeah, one of these guys killed his mom.
And I'm a taxidermy.
Yeah.
So now,
So you didn't miss shit.
Maybe let's go up to the desk and see if we can get some information.
yeah,
Let's see
As
if
we're
there's.
walking around, I'm like, always watching to make sure one don't sneak up behind me. I'm like, like back to back with Elvin as we're walking.
So you're heading up to like the main desk area at the front. There is a female Vidalkin in the same types of robes. She seems to be sitting there making some notes in some sort of a. It looks to be like a ledger. It looks like it has a list of names on it of people who have borrowed books.
How high is the desk?
It's probably a standard height for you. It's very tall for them. It's probably maybe barely above their belly buttons.
just
So it's like probably about your head level.
Okay, I'm like,
She doesn't seem to take notice of you as you approach. She continues making her little notes, and she's got a stack of books next to her. And she makes like a little mark, and then she plops one down, and she continues on. May I help you? And she never breaks eye contact with what she's doing.
Yes. My name's Rocky Brindlehyde, and I've been sent here to investigate that Simic lab that fell into the water. Can you tell me anything about that? I'm not really from these parts.
She seems to pause what she's doing. She sits her quill down. She looks up, kind of sizing you up. That's the impression that you get. You're here to investigate the Simic lab.
Yes, ma'am.
There was a problem with one of the labs?
Yep, it got destroyed or sunk into the ocean or something.
Oh, that's unfortunate. That's terrible. I hope everyone's all right.
I take it you don't know much about it.
No.
Well, shoot.
well,
Have you been into Zamek before?
No, this is my first time.
Oh. Well, It's all underwater.
So I've heard. I was kind of curious about my breathing problems because I don't breathe underwater.
I suppose it would depend on where you want to go down there. If the lab sunk, you could probably take one of the bubble pods. Unless you need to investigate with your hands, you might need some type of a water breathing potion, or
I would, dare I say, maybe a little bit of both.
maybe, yeah. I'm not sure. I'm a librarian. I don't do your type of work.
That's okay. Do you know where I'd find or rent or get one of these pods at?
Usually you can go down to the main entrance. It's just below, outside. Basically, if you go right out the steps, there's another set of steps that will take you down to the lower level.
Mm-hmm.
There should be an information booth there, and someone should be able to help you out. The Simic insignia should be above it. It should be pretty easy to spot.
All right. Well, you've been mighty helpful. Hey, do you ever feel like people watching you here? I feel like someone's watching me.
She kind of looks at you and goes, and she kind of smiles in a way that implies that she knows what you're talking about, but she doesn't come out and say that. Not at all. No, it feels very comfortable here.
I don't believe you. Are they like pervertedly watching me, or just making sure I'm not being an asshole?
I think that we all take our jobs very seriously. All of Ravnica's history is here. Everything we've learned as a society is here. And if anything would happen to that, we could revert back to a point where we were not quite so civilized.
Sure.
I'm sure you've heard some of the histories.
I've heard a thing or two.
The Simic have always been an oddity amongst, because they don't dwell on the surface. They live in the depths. You might feel at times as though they are uncaring and uncompassionate, but they're not.
Well, people will be people, right?
Indeed, yes.
How long do you rent books out for? I see you writing. Is that like...
It's sort of a case-by-case basis. You usually just let us know when you want to bring it back. And
All right.
if you don't, we'll come get it.
So it's like a pickup service, so I don't have to bring it back. You could just come find me and I give it back to you then?
I don't think you would really like it if one of us showed up to get it back.
This is why Skriznet don't read. It sounds dangerous.
Well, you read now.
But as long as it's back within the determined and negotiated time frame, we have no problems. And most people within Ravnica adhere to that, unless they had already met an untimely demise or fell victim to an accident, which it happens.
Sure. Hey, you wouldn't happen to have any books on the Gorgons, would you?
The Gorgons.
That's just something that popped around the water cooler, and I was like, that sounds interesting. I would like to read more about them.
Any particular thing about the Gorgons?
Just basic human anatomy, how to kill them, you know.
I think they bleed like everything else.
What about like a book on their, just about them or their history or,
Sure. Yes, absolutely.
All right.
Wait right here.
Well, while you're going, do you have any books on the Firemane Angels?
Most of their history is documented within the halls of the Boros.
Okay.
And they are more of a celestial entity. Their interventions have been few and far between among non-Boros.
Okay, so probably nothing I don't already know. I work with them all the time. You can tell Boros. But I was just wondering, like more of their history and.
We're not sure where they came from. They just they're here. I don't know if it's faith that drew them here, but probably not much different than the Death Pact angels, I assume. They've
Cool.
just been here for as long as we know.
Well, I think just that. Actually, I'm sorry. One more thing. Do you have any books on the Fire Mind?
The Fire Mind? You mean Niv Mizzet?
Well, just like about a Fire Mind or how it works. Not necessarily about Niv.
Niv has been very open about his life. There are many books written about Niv. As far as the Fire Mind, it's more of a concept. I didn't think it was an actual thing. It also happens to be his title. They refer to him as the Fire Mind.
Oh. So not much really is written down about it.
No, I don't know that anyone's ever actually seen it if it is an actual thing, other than Niv himself. He described it as an extension of his mind.
I think it's a real thing, just like an idea is a real thing, even though you can't see that. You know what I'm saying?
Interesting. That would put a new perspective on it.
I'm a bit of a philosopher in my spare time.
You
So-
know, I had a feeling about you.
Maybe you'll have some of the books I write one day.
I hope so. If you write one, it eventually will probably end up here. Even the most mundane and seemingly unimportant books are kept here. Even in the lower levels, we have books on everything.
What's the most mundane book you got?
We have How to Grow Mushrooms.
Oh, God, I hate mushrooms. I'm going to pass on that one. I'll just take the Gorgonites book.
You
and
know that the mushrooms were key in keeping the people of Ravnica alive for over a century.
I am glad I wasn't the century that I was alive.
No, it was before your time.
My friend grows mushrooms all over, and that's, good for her.
Interesting.
But they taste terrible.
So just a history of the Gorgons, if I have something along those lines.
Yeah.
Excellent. Wait, please. Mm-hmm. She goes into one of the restricted areas. She comes back after a few minutes. This book was not in the restricted area, but I will say that its contents have been dubbed fictional. But with all fiction, there is some degrees of truth. There is no actual written documentation of the Gorgons or where they came from. But you wanted a book about Gorgons, this is the best I have.
That'll do. How long she do? How long do I get it?
How long would you like it for?
A week?
Fair enough, 1 week.
All right. Well, I will see you in a week with this here book. And if I don't come back, you can come get it from me.
We will.
All right.
I don't think that's
She writes, she said, and your name was?
Rocky with 2 Ks.
Got it.
Bartholomew
She's writing it down in her little ledger.
with a U.
Okay.
Brindle Hyde.
Okay. And the name of the book is The Gorgons.
Very original.
You kind of look at it, it almost looks like a children's book in the way that the drawings and the paintings are done in the book. This is an original, one-of-a-kind only book. There are no other copies, which is why we keep it in the back. But knowledge is free to everyone who seek it.
Unless it's a spell.
This book doesn't happen to be waterproof, does it?
There have been some minor enchantments put on many of the books here to keep them from succumbing to age and natural means.
So that's a yes.
That is a yes.
Disco, because we're about to go underwater, so that works out real well.
Very good.
Well, toodaloo and
I
all.
just need you to sign here.
I'll take my hoof and just...
Excellent. We'll see you in 1 week. Or sooner, if you finish sooner than that. Bringing him back early is never frowned upon.
All right. Well. Bye.
Have a good day.
Bah.
You too.
All right. I guess towards the thingy
Just
entrance.
Said down
place.
the stairs, and there should be a little
Yeah.
kiosk with a guy.
So, you wander out into the lower level, right getting closer and closer to the water. You do indeed see what seems to be one of those green and blue metallic dome structures. There's several people working behind what looks to be a long, almost counter or a booth. There's probably 20 people behind this thing. They're handing out what looks to be these little remote control buzzer looking things to people as they come in. They're collecting fees. And the line is there's a line of people trying to get in, and then there's some coming back. The races are varied. Most of them seem to be some form of elf or human, with a few Vidalkans. And they all seem to be air breathers from what you can tell.
All right. I think wait in line.
Sure.
Yeah.
The line moves pretty swift. You just kind of follow your place in line. And you are soon greeted at the front of the line by a very almost blue skinned looking elf with long blonde hair, male. You notice that there's like asphyxiated on the side of his neck, it looks like gills.
Howdy, feller.
Hello.
Do you breathe air through the?
Yeah, I can do both.
Wow, that's awesome.
I can't wait to get my shark fin.
What now?
Yeah, I'm gonna get a shark fin. It's gonna be sweet.
This is just something you purchase from the store and plop her on?
Well,
or-
I mean, you had to pay for it. It's not very expensive, but we're always trying to intermingle the different types of genetic advances and advantages of certain species with ours to, perfect us. We believe that all life came from the ocean, and eventually we're all going to be back there, so we're just getting one step ahead.
Wow. Do you offer these kinds of services for people not within the Simic?
It's a little bit more expensive, and depending on what you want. We mostly specialize in aquatic life forms.
What about aquatic life forms like a walrus with like big tusks that come out of their mouths?
Man, you stole my idea. I was gonna do.
I'm trying to help you out. I don't have the tusks. I already got tusks.
I'm not sure why, but yeah, we could probably do that.
So my little
I
friend.
mean, we don't do that, but
Where would we? Is there like a line for that one?
you'd have to probably talk to one of the geneticists below.
Roger. Write that down. His name is Roger, the geneticist.
Get it.
What can I help you with today? Are you planning to visit Zamek?
Yeah, in a way. So we were sent by the Hall of the Guilds. We are to investigate the Simic lab that blew up or fell into the water or something.
Oh, we've been expecting you. You're from the Order of the Guild Pact.
That's the one.
We were wondering how long it was going to take for someone to come and investigate that. We've been complaining.
Well, your complaint was heard. There was lots of pressing stuff within Ravnica. We are but one trope
Look
of
at
people.
this. The system works.
Thank you. Who was I telling? I was telling someone. Thank you.
Skriz rolls his eye. Oh, God, don't get him started.
So you've never been below, yes?
Yes, no.
You notice that this particular elf seems to be a bit more cheery and friendly than what you were kind of led to believe about most people within the Simic. And as he's having a conversation with you, you kind of notice that the people behind the booth are all kind of looking at him like they seem like annoyed.
Fucking Brian again.
Yeah. Well, this is Zonnet 7. Basically, at some point in Ravnica's history, the underground oceans swallowed chunks of the world, and these big holes of water filled up. We've navigated a lot of them. A lot of our people come from there, and they're all connected.
Cool. Where's the lab?
There are many labs underneath. The lab that you're referring to is not too far from Zemek.
That is perfect. Now, being as we are from the Hall of the Guild Pact, they told us you'd have like pods we could use? Or
Sure. Yeah, we can get you a bubble pod.
Yeah, and like you got some of them breathing potions you can throw in there in case we gotta get hands on.
Ooh. Yeah, it's gonna cost though. Those aren't easy to make. But I mean, we do keep some for people who are not, water people.
Well, considering as I'm a minotaur, that is not me.
We could fix that.
I'd have to talk to the wife.
I don't know. We could get you a crocodile snout and some gills. It'd be pretty sweet.
I mean,
Maybe some piranha fangs. Eh?
let me
Couple
think
extra
about
octopus tentacles. What do you think?
it. I don't have any to begin with.
Then they would all be extra, right?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
we'll let you think about it.
Yeah. Why don't you put the potions on the tab of the guild pact hall?
Ooh,
And-
persuasion check.
He thought.
As long as you are not casting a spell, absolutely.
So I can. Okay.
So you'll get advantage on the roll.
All right.
How are you assisting him?
I can roll with them.
No, I mean how. Are you gonna speak up or be like, well, I don't know, they said they were gonna pay for this, or like, how are you gonna?
I'm like, yeah, man. I'm glad you remembered, Rocky, that they said put it on the tab.
This is why you keep me here.
See, and that's I told you, getting potions.
First
that's-
roll of the night.
I know, right?
That's the biggest thing.
2 hours in.
And, yeah, they said to put it on the tab.
How'd you do?
17.
Okay. He kind of looks and goes, well, I mean, all right, if that's what they said, we'll definitely get the money back at some point. So let's see, what do you need? 1, 2, 3, 5?
Yeah, five would be good.
Okay. But if that's not true, I could get in a lot of trouble.
You tell him to come talk to Rocky.
Okay. He writes down Rocky said.
2 Ks.
2 Ks. Minotaur, Rocky said.
2 Es.
Got it.
Soon to have crocodile snout.
I think you'd be pretty badass.
I mean, I've got most of it's like a half crocodile snout right now.
I mean, guys, picture him right now. I want you to picture Rocky. Crocodile snout
I could see it.
with the horns. Come on.
that burn mark.
yeah, maybe. But it's more the snout than the face that we're talking about.
Just imagine this guy, right? Like, he's already a huge guy, right? And he's coming charging at you with these horns and crocodile teeth.
Yeah.
I would wet myself. I'd be like, no, I'm not messing with that guy. Nuh-uh.
Like everybody in the back of the line are like, oh my god, this just got hurry up.
The line was moving. Well, I think if my face is any longer, I'll probably fall
Somebody in the
over.
back's like, just get the fuck.
Just get the crocodile face already.
All right, so you need 1 pod and some potions. Got it.
That'll do her.
All right, I'm gonna send the tab to the Chamber of the Guild Pack. You got it.
That's right. I believe his name was
So 500 gold.
Judge Mulder View.
Judge Moldrin View is the guy who
Billing
was,
Judge Moldrin View, 500 gold. You got it.
Yep.
I knew they were going to be expensive. So.
As we walk
Now that's
away,
that's the deposit fee to make sure that the pod gets brought back, and you'll get some of the money back if you don't end up using the potions.
All the guild pack on that one.
Yep.
Got it. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
So be careful. Have you ever driven a bubble pod before?
Oh, no.
I've driven a horse before. How much different is it?
Driven a...
Very different.
Then no.
Okay.
Has anyone else bubble potted?
So basically, it's got like a little wheel in there, and when you want the thing to go to the left, you rotate the wheel to the left, and when you want it to go to the right, you rotate to the right. When you want it to go up and down, there's a little lever that you up for up and down for down.
My left or your right?
Whatever direction you're facing.
Okay.
It's pretty easy, pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, Skriz, you've been in like pods before. Do you have any memory of knowing how to drive something like
His
this?
description talking about driving the pod kind of irritates you because you kind of recall it being a little bit more complicated than that. You have recollection that
this guy's starting to
that it's more
irritate me. I'm
complicated
like,
than that.
Hey, do you happen to know the time?
Spider leaving everyone with a
Yeah. Okay. All right, let's go get this pod and let's go investigate.
Okay. So
And as we walk away, I look at Rocky and I'm like, that was nice.
What?
The whole person's on the tab.
We're doing their work.
You're becoming a liar.
Yeah.
No, they didn't say that they wouldn't be covering the potions.
Right.
They covered
But you're going to watch me on potions, huh?
Well,
Not
I
too
didn't
bad.
steal these potions. They're being paid for. They're being
Steal
paid.
anything? Yeah, mine fell in my pouch.
So
There's an
if these
The
aren't
magical
covered by the
hand.
guild pack,
Put it
you're
in
gonna
my
pay
pouch.
since you-
Probably.
Ah,
But the
use
guild
all.
pack, I mean, they paid for
I was
our
gonna pour it out.
they paid for our tickets to the nightclub. They've done this before. It seems like it's included in the job.
They didn't pay for it. We were given to them by the...
Either way, we got them for free.
Got it.
All right.
Oh, I like your style, Rocky. That was pretty good.
Oh, thank you. Well, you want to drive? It sounds like you know what to do.
Are we at the pod?
No, you're still at the desk.
Okay.
We just had this whole conversation.
He's kind of looking at you. The guy's like,
No, they're definitely paying for it. Don't worry about it.
I'm not. I got your name right here. So
Yep, Muldrin View. You wrote that one down too.
Yep, Muldrin View.
Judge.
Just go!
Yeah, Supreme Judge Muldrin View. Got it.
Supreme.
That's the one.
Okay, let's go. We're holding up the line.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yep.
Well, you guys have a nice day in Zamek.
Okay, bye.
See ya.
I.
So, you
Goodbyes are
you
so
kind
awkward in this game.
so you kind of follow. It's only awkward sometimes. Sometimes it's like really good, and sometimes it's awkward. So you guys follow what looks to be like a roped off path that kind of leads you down to. It's almost like a little corral of several of these little bubble pod machines. It looks similar to the teleportation device that you had from your memories. It's very similar in structure. It's not the same, but it looks similar. Metal filigrees along the bottom. There's the metal, like, almost gear-like thing that encompasses the center of it. The little device that they gave you to activate the pod. It's like this little small box with a button on it, basically. So as you approach, you hit the button, and the pod that's closest, the hatch opens up. Inside there are 6 seats. There are 3 and 3, so it's pretty large inside. And it looks familiar.
I feel like there's a little anxiety of climbing into this pod.
Yeah, a little bit.
I was like, is this the only way down? I mean, do we have to? Okay,
Take a sip of gravy. You'll be all right. It's like miles down there. We'd be swimming for hours.
I step into the pod.
The controls are in the middle of the main seat. So the seat's in the front, in the middle. The steering wheel and the lever for navigating up and down. There's little dials, and it looks like pressure valves and stuff in there. And as you're looking a little bit closer, you see that there are these really small pipes that kind of go along the outside of it to pressure and stabilize the air pressure within the device.
After it kind of seals off, I'm going to cast Bless at first level.
Okay.
So any of your checks, you get a D4
Okay.
Cool.
for an hour.
Is it concentration?
Bless 3 people.
Yeah, I'm going to bless everybody.
Is it concentration?
Cool.
Cool.
As he's messing around, looking around, just trying to get his wits about him, he turns around like, nobody farting here. It'll be ridiculous.
I think if it would be anyone, it'd be you.
Don't point fingers. I was just saying.
No, I didn't point. I was just letting you know. It was probably you.
All right.
So, you the hatch on the pod closes, and almost memory reflex, you crank one of the knobs, and you feel the pressure make your ears kind of pop. and you hear like a vacuum seal as the outside is now sealed off from coming inside. You activate the gears and the levers. The little control panel at the front illuminates. You begin to drift down into the depths.
So I feel like I would slowly take it out and just to screw around with him. Be like, okay, I think I got this. Is this the right? And just go, whee! Just to see, like, no, that's the wrong number.
Like a nosedive?
Yeah, a little,
Okay.
little nosedive.
So-
But he'd be like, oh God, we're sinking.
So yeah, he sends this thing almost into like a wild little like spiral nosedive down into the depths.
Actually crashed the whole thing.
And then you hear from the back. I'm sorry.
As you you stabilize it
Yeah.
after just a few moments and level it out, and then you start to descend. There are little lights on the sides, the top, and the bottom. You have little controls for each one. You're kind of steering the little lights around so you can kind of see around you. Those with dark vision can see that there's all forms of aquatic life swimming around in the darkness of the ocean around you. The lights seem to illuminate and bounce off of various forms of algae and fish and coral.
See fucking Jar Jar Binks come.
The
The thing should get out of the way.
the massive river ocean looking thing is encompassed as you go further down and almost looks like a well. It's an entirely concrete structure has been built around this aqueduct that encompasses it's miles all the way down. It's like a giant well in the middle of the city, and it continues to descend as you go down and down and down and down. You see little windows and chambers with lights on the outside of this. As you're going down, you see people walking around, and they live down here. Some of them seem like they're air breathers. There are tubes and chambers with entirely glass structures that you can see in hallways. It looks very sophisticated down here. It looks like the future.
As we're descending, I was gonna say I'm gonna change into like the guy we talked to when we were heading down, the one that wanted the shark tail.
Like a blue elf.
Yeah, I'm gonna look like a blue elf with
Okay.
a shark tail.
Nice.
Okay.
elf.
Now, going down here, do we see a place where we can dock up to and
Yeah,
get out?
there's lots of places that you could. There are many opportunities. It's almost like as you descend, you kind of get a little bit closer to the outside rim of the wall structure, so you're not seeing all of it because it's miles wide. You wouldn't be able to see all of it, and there's just layers and layers. Whereas like when you were in the Izzet layer, there was all these little pods stacked. These are like rings, and they go all the way around and encompass the whole thing. Below you, you see that there are some lights, and from where you're at, this goes down several, probably 1,000 feet, but these lights seem to come back up. There are structures actually below you too. There are many places that you could dock the pod, and you see that these big chambers with like sealed doors that would allow you to gain access that way and park inside on every level.
Where are we going? Do you guys have do we just park somewhere and walk around and go ask, or
Well,
You were given very vague directions on how to get here. Just that it was below the guild hall, and that you might be able to find someone within Zamek to help you.
Well, maybe let's do like a once around and see if we can find, a wreckage or something.
see where maybe a tour apart from it?
Yeah, maybe we investigate the outside here, and if we can't find anything, we can go inside.
Let's do that. Do it once around, see if we can see where the lab itself might have tore from.
You descend further down past the concrete walls, and stone walls that have been carved and built around this aqueduct fissure. Heading closer towards the lights that you see in the bottom of the depths. As you get deeper, you see many fish-tailed humans, merfolk. They have fins on the tops of their heads. They have not been genetically altered. They are just merfolk. They swim about to and fro, in and out of the non-air dwelling facilities. There are many that are completely underwater too. It's a combination of both. The lights that illuminate along are definitely developed by the Izzet. The tubes that house and break, or that keep the water from coming in and the pressure from destabilizing, you recognize as Izzet technology. It's similar to the steam pipes, but with glass instead of with metal. You go further and further down, you see the structure that you assume to be Zamek, which is the main guild hall for the Simic Combine. It's a huge domed structure with a green metallic roof. There are many pieces of coral and stuff that are attached to it. Many fish and things are swimming around it. And there are no actual walls, but it looks more like a gazebo, like a massive gazebo as you descend. And you can see in and out, but it's a huge structure. It looks like there are layers and levels within it, some that have been pocketed off for air breathers and some that have not. It almost looks like a big council hall, almost like picture the Senate building in Return of the Sith, where there's all these like seats and chambers that kind of go around it in this circular structure. It looks like there's one big podium in the middle. On the top of the structure, you see this. It looks like the roots of a tree, but the roots look sort of wavy, and the leaves sprout out. You recognize it as the Simic Combine insignia. They are preservers of nature, all nature, but aquatic nature seems to be the thing that they care the most about. But they find medicines and means through plants as well as aquatic life, plants within the ocean. And you see that there's these large tree-like structures that grow underwater near and around this gazebo-looking thing. As you descend and go further, you notice that this structure is sort of floating. It's not stabilized on any sort of ground, and you're able to go past it and below it. It doesn't take you long before you start seeing the remnants and debris coming from an underground cavern within the side of one of the non-finished walls. It's a huge cavern, and you see bits of rock and metal, scraps of metal sort of floating there.
Can you pull up over there? You see all that debris floating around?
Bring it up near it.
Okay. As you get a little bit closer to it, you see that there's many pieces of this scrap metal, shards of glass. They seem to be forming almost like a trail coming from this cavern opening within the depths
Where does it lead? The trail?
into this cavern.
Oh, nice.
Can we fit in the cavern if we?
It's a huge opening. It's probably 200 or 300 feet tall,
I keep
at least
going
100
towards the
feet
cavern.
wide. It's a huge cavern. So you want to go to the cavern. As you approach, total darkness. There are no lights. You see all this debris, and you hear it sort of clang off the sides as you're going through it. You've decreased your acceleration speed a little bit. You see some deeper dwelling fish and squid and things sort of trying to get away from you as you come in. The cavern seems to go down and straight, and then it seems to ascend a little bit and go up. You want to continue to follow it. It goes up and up and up for a few hundred feet, not straight up as in like an incline, until you reach air. It's like an underground air vent. Your pod pops up, and half the pod is above the water now. You look out, and there's jagged rock formations coming from the depths below, stalactites and stalagmites in this almost huge, massive cavern expansion. You have come out in what looks to be almost surrounding you, almost like teeth surrounding you, but rocks. As the lights sort of form around, and you see the tops of this, you see these strange-looking creatures hanging from the tops of the cavern. They almost look like bats, but they look more aquatic, almost like manta rays hanging from the ceiling.
How many are there?
Hundreds.
Oh god.
Maybe we go back and ask directions.
In the middle of this, as you popped up, several hundred feet across, you see more of these like rock structures, and what looks to be more debris floating on the top. A lot more debris floating on the top. And you didn't notice at first, but you notice what looks to be like a large basin where something had it looks like almost like a little island, and it looks like it's sort of tipped.
Does the pod have like legs where you could bring them out mechanically to walk across, or is it just mostly as a water pod?
No, it's not for that. Yeah, it doesn't walk, it swims.
Okay, so from looking at these little manta ray bats, do we know what they might be?
Making we'll go a history check.
How long has it been to get to this point?
It's probably been 30 minutes, maybe 40 minutes.
You get a D4.
Okay, D4.
Hey, not 20.
14. With that, the 4.
I got a 20.
It's a creature that definitely resembles a manta ray, but instead of being where the face is kind of underneath the manta ray, it actually has like a head. It looks like some sort of scientific experiment where someone crossed a bat and a manta ray. You don't recognize the creature because you don't think you've ever seen one before. You're able to tell enough distinct features between the two different organisms that seem to have been spliced and merged together.
So we don't even know if it's aggressive or...
Yeah, does it look hostile or anything? Or?
They seem to be acting like bats would in a cave.
As long as we don't aggravate them, I think
Yeah, it
we
should
might
be
be
fine.
alright.
Yeah.
So, and it looks like there's a big pod that's just floating in the middle.
It
there
looks
on
like
the
a big
side.
land structure.
Okay.
The land structure looks artificially made, not metallic, but as if someone had took a bunch of rock and carved it into a shape, with like a little bit of stone on the top.
And it's across the way from us?
It seems to be propped up against the far end of the cavern, but it definitely looks like it should have been upright. It stands out. It looks like the bottom of it is like almost like a rock point going down into the ground, and it's definitely not natural. It looks like it should be upright, like flat.
Is there any way just to put the pod somewhere where we could get
Yeah,
out of it?
you'd be able to probably tie it to one of the rock structures.
I pull up towards one and I pop open the door to get out.
Okay, so you pop open
Good place as any.
the door, and you're kind of swimming in the water, and you're going to tie this to one of the rock structures, correct? Okay. What is everyone else doing?
Probably kind of like the same, or swimming towards the landmass.
Okay.
I'd like to get on some land, yeah.
Yeah.
It's the only land structure around, and it's at almost a 90-degree angle. You wouldn't be able to stand on it.
Okay.
Not easily.
Can I try and dive underwater and see if there's an entrance anywhere from underwater that we can...
Do you have dark vision?
I have a torch.
Does it work
Underwater?
Underwater?
It doesn't say.
A torch.
Well, I'm going to let you know that it won't.
Okay.
I'll go with him and I'll use my dancing lights so
Okay.
he can see.
That
That's
would work.
concentration.
Look at that teamwork.
Teamwork.
That's
do you wanna do?
fucking
I was gonna say Elvin is actually, because I don't know how to swim, and I was being dead honest about that.
I didn't know that about your character, but that's really interesting.
So he's trying his best not to panic right now.
Okay.
I'm feeling like he's drowning, but trying not to cause noise. Because I rolled a 4,
Okay.
so I'm not doing good.
I feel like Rocky's just like doggy paddling.
Yeah. So you swim with Lizica, and the lights swirl around and kind of give you. They're out ahead of you. They're casting a little bit more light so you can see. The structure looks like it actually broke off of the side of the wall, and it tipped. As you get a little bit closer, you see that there's huge scrape marks on this structure as the flat part goes way deeper into the depths of the ocean, and it looks like something slid off of it. Something big, something heavy.
Oh God.
Okay. So they're so this is more like just a platform.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
So it fell off a wall. We're
The
thinking.
rock structure looks like it fell off the wall.
Does if we look at the wall, does it look like there's more stuff? Anything up there that it would be like connected to?
It actually looks like it was connected to the wall right where it's tipped.
Okay.
It doesn't look like it came from above.
Okay.
okay.
You kind of look and you can line up the breaks.
So maybe that lab was on this ledge and it collapsed in.
I mean, it's
So there was
possible.
big claw marks.
No, like big scrapes.
Scratch.
Like something slid off
Yeah.
of it.
Gotcha.
I mean, we could try and look for whatever fell off.
Yeah, if we go back down that incline, whatever it was probably just kept sliding and then went straight down from our entrance into this tube. Can I look at the wall and see if there's any explosion marks or powder or I don't know anything that could give me any
Make an
indication?
investigation check.
Not 20.
The structure itself does not look like it was. There was no explosion that rocked the structure. There's no scorch marks. There's no burn marks. With that, it looks as if this platform had a tremendous amount of weight or force pushed on one side of it, causing it to break and tip.
So I'll kind of talk that out with Liz while we're kind of standing there and looking at the area.
Are they underwater this whole time?
Who?
No,
They're like
yeah.
in the water.
Okay, gotcha.
So something
Waiting.
awfully big probably popped up there. I wonder if it's a sea creature or something.
Could be.
I don't know what else could get here. I mean, we're in a cavern under the water. So it's got to be some sort of big old sea creature.
Yeah.
Do you, I mean, I don't know much about the water, the ocean, or anything. Do you know anything, any kinds of sea creatures or anything that could do
You
something
notice
like that?
Elvin starting to like have a panic attack.
Uh,
He's trying to tread water and he's still kind of like hanging onto the pod.
Oh, God. So, I duck underwater and I pull my pants off. Hold on.
I don't know where you're going with this, but go ahead.
So he comes back up and you see him like tying the ends of his pants off. And he goes, and he cinches it like a little buoy. And I swim over to Elvin and like give it to him to like lean on like a flotation device.
Look at this MacGyver motherfucker. You don't even really question how he came up with that idea, but You seem to be good with
Making
it.
sure I wasn't panicking enough to like. I'm just like breaking everything.
So just be calm. Go on.
I never learned how to swim. I'm sorry.
I'm not trying to be a dip. Just be calm down. Damn.
Did you touch my leg?
I ain't got no pants on. Something might hit your leg.
Okay.
Feel like a tentacle?
Maybe you need more octopus arms.
I hate you guys. I'm gonna kill all of you.
Giant octopus.
Oh no, it's a kraken. You guys lose.
We lose.
Well, this should help. I think I got my cool back. We're good. How you doing? Okay, we're good. Yeah.
So is there a place where we can like go to get on land, or we're just?
There's no land here.
It's just the tipped.
As you were kind of looking around, there are some flat spots, but they're all underwater.
So I think, as I was telling Liz here, that platform was holding something up there. It could have been the lab that we're looking for. It looks like some sort of uneven balance of weight, like a massive creature, object, or something was put on there, and it snapped off, and whatever this platform was holding fell into the depths and probably slid all the way down that tunnel and kept going down. So I think we get back in the pod, we go south or underwater more.
I guess untie the pod and we can climb back in.
Do you get him first?
Our,
I'm going to get it first. Ass.
Okay.
Little goblin ass in your face.
So
Can you hand me up my pants?
I didn't know you could see the moon underwater.
you all get back into the pod, and as you're kind of swimming back, you hear stirring in the cavern from above you. You hear what sounds like bats screeching and chirping and whirring about. You hear the sound of wings flapping.
Like bat wings, not like dragon wings.
Yeah, like many wings, like bat wings. You look up and you see all of these half manta ray, half bat creatures. They start charging down towards the platform in like unison. They smash into the structure almost as if they can't see it and dive underneath the depths. The amount of weight that hits the rest of the rock sinks the rock platform down into the ocean depths. The manta ray bat creatures swim off into the depths of the ocean.
Well, at least we know what happens to the platform.
Yeah, does that seem like that could have been what happened?
You're not sure.
It's a possibility.
How many of them like slammed into that? Was it a bunch of them at once?
Yeah, like a couple hundred.
So they're blind like a bat and just slammed it.
Correct, but don't bats fly off sound?
Well, I don't know how manta ray bats work. I'm going to be completely honest.
Yeah, but you gotta think if they are a bat, they're kind of flying like they're blind. Maybe they're not hearing the structure. Maybe the structure has something magical on it.
I mean, I took a good look all around. I didn't see nothing. I mean, you feel free to swim over there and take a look.
I mean, I'm okay. I don't think I could get over there, but no, maybe there's some kind of aura on it or something.
It's possible. Did we feel an aura when we were over there that we noticed?
An
Or
aura?
anything? Or a magical presence or anything? I mean, when we were investigating all that stuff.
Nothing that seemed unusual.
Maybe whatever was in that research facility had something that emitted something for the bats to all fly into. And maybe,
Threw the
There's
radar
just-
off.
yeah, just kind of some like residual something there.
Maybe it's just not adding up. Why bats are just going one direction and then that's it, and then they scatter.
Yeah, like
maybe they just made these as bats and they don't know what the hell they do. And then they had them in the cavern here and it was a freak accident.
Well, I think we find out more once we get down there and see if we can find the lab itself. If we see a bunch of pellet holes from bats, maybe that could be what explains it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, back to the pod.
I think so.
You get back into the pod. You turn the device on. You put your pants back on. And you reseal the hatch, and you descend into the depths. You see the large rock structure that the bat manta rays slammed into, and it's still sort of sinking. It's colliding and scraping against the back wall, and underneath the water now you actually hear the sounds of it falling down slowly until eventually it disappears beyond your sight. You head towards what you believe is the direction that whatever was on the platform that fell off of it went. You notice more bits of debris and pieces of metal and glass, and now some new pieces of rock as this big, large rock structure scrapes down the side of the wall. You see a few of the manta bat rays still kind of lingering back that got lost from the group, but they seem to be fly/glide/swimming under the water, trying to find back with the rest of their things. These things are probably about the size of you, Skriznet, if you're wondering about their size.
Okay.
Something metallic catches your eye from the depths as one of your lights goes off. And maybe a couple 100 feet down, you see nestled on a small underwater ledge. I can't really call it small. From this depth, it looks small. It's a little bit bigger. Is a large metallic domed structure. There's a glass. It almost looks like a snow globe. The glass structure on the top has been completely shattered. There are some fading now that you can see, now that you're kind of looking at it, there's like some very fading, pulsing lights in and out of around the entire structure. There's windows and holes and what looks like doors, pod entrances and things along the sides of it. And it's just sitting there.
But even if you went to the pod entrance, it's not like you could disembark the pod because everything's busted open and water everywhere, right?
The pod entrance that you see seem to be towards the basin of the structure.
If we went and investigate where the pod entrance was, where we could park maybe the pod and get out, like use the potion, would we have to worry? Where it's laying at now, does it look like it could further fall?
No, it looks pretty stable.
Okay, so I'd like to go get closer to where the pod entrance is and see if we could park the pod and maybe disembark that and get into an area where we could get out without flooding the pod full of water.
Okay. So you descend towards the bottom of the structure, which looks like this weird snow globe, almost mushroom type structure. It's massive. It looks much bigger than you would have anticipated. The dimensions are a little bit hard to tell completely because it looks like parts and pieces of it have broken off on the back side of it. The dome structure itself looked like it was mostly comprised of glass, and strong glass at that. This particular type of structure, make a history check. You would have probably done work on these types of things, or at least your people, the Izzet may have. You recognize that this building structure
Is round.
was designed both for submerging itself and being on dry land. It was able to do both.
So there's a possibility there's a motor or something that would help push it back towards the surface?
Possibly. You're not sure. It was designed to do both. It was designed to actually go under the water and come out.
So, all right. I think maybe we try to find a place where we can park the pod.
Okay.
Or without submerging it in water.
So you descend, and as you get closer, you see in the windows and little bay areas of the structure that the diameter on it is massive. There were big things kept here. The upper level where the glass dome was looks to be more dormitory from the pieces that haven't been ripped completely out. It seems to be very structured with beds and personal chambers, but it's all been flooded.
We don't see any bodies as we're descending.
Make an investigation check.
This is just as good as my history. Why did I fucking even try? Hit that
Would I be able to
14.
assist him looking around as well?
Sure.
14.
Roll again.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you the
Oh.
assist on it. Pointing stuff out.
There we go. That was way better.
Nice.
Plus the 3, so and plus my 2. 25.
Any of the bodies, if there were any, they've either floated away or been consumed by just animals in the ocean. So you don't even see the debris or remnants of. No bones, nothing.
Okay.
So you get the pod closer to the bottom of the basin of the structure, and you see that there's several different pod entrances all across it. As you approach, one of the bay doors opens, as if it's still working as intended.
Do you want me to go in here?
I mean, random pod door open. Yeah, sure, let's go. I mean, what's the worst that happens?
Okay. And I continue on towards the door.
Okay. You navigate the pod, and as you enter into the bay, it's very easy to navigate. It's very large. It illuminates and lights up like it's supposed to. The bay door behind you closes. You hear what sounds like a vacuum pull the water out of this particular chamber.
Not bad.
And then your pod sort of sinks to level ground.
Say each of us grab our potion and take with us, and
Yeah, close the door before we leave,
yes,
just in case.
close the door.
Okay.
I don't think
Now, this is I don't know what your status is as far as needing a rest or anything like that. If you guys have used or expended spell slots, but at this point you guys have been traveling for a while. It's getting closer to early evening. You can continue on, but if you go too much later, you might run into exhaustion. So you might need to take either a short rest or a long rest, but this seems to be fairly safe where you're at.
If we're going to take a rest, I say we stay inside the pod.
Might as well, yeah.
Yeah, is there enough room inside the pod for us to like lay down, get
Not
comfortable?
really lay down, but you could probably recline the seats a little bit, and I mean, it wouldn't be the most comfortable, but you guys have slept in worse places.
Okay. Yeah, traveling all day and a little bit beat.
Yeah, let's stay in the pod.
Mm-hmm.
Get our energy back up, and
We want to take a big long snooze. I think be a good idea. We don't know, what we're gonna find in there. How much
it's not
time
like it's
gonna
going to
take.
get any darker or lighter out here.
Yeah.
Not wrong.
Yeah, should sleep pretty good. But I don't know how anybody sleeps with a shark tail on their back.
They probably sleep on their bellies.
That other side, yeah.
Yeah, why didn't you use that thing while we were floating in the water?
It's not a balance device, just a tail.
Yeah, but can you wag it back and forth so you could have kept yourself propelled up?
I didn't think of that. I'll try it next time.
I'm just because man, my pants ain't always gonna be around for you.
I do think if we're going to be taking a big old rest here, that we keep guard as well, just in case.
All right.
And keep your pants on.
Okay, that one came off for you, buddy.
Okay, so who's keeping first watch?
I'll keep first watch.
You got it. How long do you want to watch for?
Probably 2 hours.
You got it. Who's going to take over after him?
You can do another 2 hours, and I can take the last 4 since I'll need 4 hours.
Okay.
Yep.
Sleep
Sounds good.
Of trance.
So unless you have any other conversations that you want to have amongst yourselves, I'll make some random rolls over here to see if anything interesting happens.
All right.
You guys done talking to each other? You want to actually sleep?
Yep.
Actually, especially after the whole Jace incident and coming straight here.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
It's been a rough day.
first couple hours. Quiet.
Nice.
You, from the outside, you hear, it's not really waves or ripples, but you can tell that there's fish and stuff swimming by. Yeah, because like you'll hear it from the outside of the bay door, and then you'll kind of look at one of the glass windows that haven't been quite destroyed. And you'll see like a school of them kind of go by. They catch light, and their scales shimmer off of the light from inside this room.
Nice.
Second hour, uneventful, very quiet.
Third hour, cracking.
All right.
So you're up next. First hour. Strangely quiet. You start to hear like a humming coming from within the building, very minor. You're not sure if you heard it before, but you notice it now.
Okay, can I just focus on that and see if it gets any louder or quieter?
Sure. Yeah, you can focus. Second hour. The humming seems to maintain itself and then seems to shut itself off. It seems mechanical or machinery.
I'll write it off as something malfunctioning, seeing that it's a building. For now, at least.
Still quiet.
I don't like that smirk.
Yeah, I don't like it either.
Fourth hour.
Kraken.
Still quiet.
That was a long pause between quiet.
I had to look at my note over here that I have right next to my little map.
Go to sleep, man.
So that's your 4 hours. Are you continuing on, or are you waking everyone up?
How many hours was that?
6 total.
6 total.
Okay.
Well, I guess it was only 6. I don't know.
Yeah. We need 8. So
Well-
I mean, I probably wouldn't have gotten Liz up right away. I would have gotten Elvin first.
Sure.
Because we've
So-
done that whole Liz thing before.
Well, and we didn't really specify who would do a wash after that, so
It's fine. The rolls are the same.
I might
Yeah.
just
So you noticed the humming. And
yeah.
you noticed it kicked off after the second hour.
Oh, I think this shark tail is giving me special senses.
So you have 2 hours left on your watch.
Yes.
From the upper chamber, there's sort of like a hatch. There's a ladder, and it looks like that's how you kind of proceed into the lab. You hear what sounds like something moving about above you.
Does it sound bigger or bigger?
Sounds like something.
Hmm.
You're not sure. You're not entirely sure if it's something banging across the walls or something walking or what it is.
That kind of scared me. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, it's here.
It seems to have headed down towards the middle of the structure, away from where,
So where are
away from wherever you're at.
So where are the windows?
They're sort of near the entrance of the pod chamber,
Okay. And where is this thing in relation to the windows?
above
Okay.
where the hatch is.
Mhm.
You're doing a great job.
Thank you. Well, I'll keep listening and seeing if it's moving more.
final hour goes by. You don't hear anything else.
Okay. So this is the final hour where
You're all done. That's it.
All right.
That's been the 8 hours.
I'll wake everybody else up and.
I mean, it could have been a squid or anything within the
Yeah.
facility. You have no idea. I could just be messing with you.
It's true. I'll go ahead and tell everybody.
Because I've never done that before, ever.
That's true. I'll go ahead and tell everybody that I heard something, but I'm just like, we should probably be a little careful if we head out that way.
Was it like swimming or walking? Or how'd you hear something?
It was like, I don't know, it was like something going across, I guess, the surface of the building. So I'm not entirely sure what it was.
It's on the outside of the building?
Yeah. So it might have been like a squid or.
Could have been more of those bataties.
Yeah. But just in case, we might want to. We might want to just keep an eye out just in case.
Yeah, for sure.
Well,
We don't know what's down here.
I heard something too. With my shark fin, I kind of felt something. There's definitely something out there.
Ah. Okay.
Huh.
It's big.
Ah.
Good.
Good to know.
So you can hear through your shark fin?
Yeah, it's kind of like a sense, and I'm gonna come up with a name for it.
Fin sense.
Fin sense, yeah, I like it.
By the way, you're level 5.
Yay.
Time to refresh my page.
After that long rest, you're all level 5.
Pew, 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 pew. Oh, wait. I got
Wow, look at that. I have 28 hit points now.
Helps. That's embarrassing.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. I can. It's almost like I have an extra sense, extra pair of ears.
Mm.
Wow. Well, maybe you should be in this form more often.
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean,
Yeah, if it's got some extra senses and stuff, help us out some more.
we'll just follow the tip. That's all I can say.
Do we feel like he's full of shit?
That's up to you. You can insight check him.
I'm like,
I mean, you guys always kind of feel like everything Elvin tells you is bullshit, but
yeah, I feel like I'm not gonna say
because
anything
he
if
sometimes he is full of shit and sometimes he's 100% honest, so it's really hard to tell.
Oh, it's got a nice little spin. Where's it gonna stop? What is it? Perception?
It would be
Insight, right?
Insight.
That's not better. I believe him.
Okay.
I don't think to question him that much because I've never had a fin, but like I can feel when it gets cold in my horns. So
I mean,
like,
I'm not lying. I did feel something, but I'm just gonna say it's another sense to make it sound way cooler.
why wouldn't you?
It's kind of like Spidey senses.
So
but
we're just going. Okay, we
Fit
got our
sense.
nappy time in. Let's go out there and investigate.
Yep. Let's.
I don't want to be down here any longer than
All
I
right.
have to.
We'll keep
You
our
want to.
guard out and move on forward.
Yeah.
Right.
So, from what you know about the structures,
We have our potions. We locked
the chamber above, once you climb up the ladder and enter through the hatch door, is airtight, and then you have to allow the chamber to fill with water. So that's kind of like the point of no return at that point.
Mm-hmm.
It has draining technology and vacuums like the chamber below, but it's like the entry point, basically. So, you're drinking these potions. I believe they last like an hour.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying that they last about an hour.
Sure.
Okay. So, you climb up the ladder. You enter into it's a very small chamber. It's wide enough for all of you to fit in, no problem. And there's another large, it looks like a door with a big wheel in the middle of it. There's a little control panel on the opposite side of the hatch where you guys came up next to the ladder. You close the chamber hatch below you and seal it up with a little wheel mechanism, and you hear what sounds like the air being sucked into that, similar to when the pod lid closed. Do you want to activate the water chamber button?
Oh, we didn't come here for nothing.
Elvin presses the button, and very slowly, these vents on the side open up, and water starts to fill the chamber. It's very cold. It's a little bit shocking to the system at first.
That's a perfect time to use a lightning spell.
But as the chamber fills up with water, the lights in this room sort of flicker, as if they're not operating entirely properly.
Nice.
You're now underwater.
Yay. Underwater.
You going through the door?
Starting to panic.
You're feeling a little bit claustrophobic and definitely not liking the water, but at first you freak out and you realize that you're not going to drown. It helps, but you don't like this.
So I'm just gonna slap him.
Okay.
Hey. Focus up.
Does it allow us to talk about
Yeah, I
water
don't
and understand
really.
each other?
It
Yeah.
allows you to breathe underwater.
Oh boy, I didn't really think of that.
I guess we just open a door and go through it.
So you open up the door and you walk to be. It looks to be
Got nothing
like
for that.
one of the main chambers. It seems like it goes almost all the way through the middle of the structure. This looks to be where most of the actual labs and stuff are, the individual scientific labs. As one who you're starting to have recollections of designing these types of buildings, and you know that the higher up you go, the less experimentation happens. It's more a dormitory, and so you get to the very top where like families and stuff live. It looks like Chamber of Horrors through here, as you see the dead bodies in jars of various different types of organisms that have been spliced together with other types of organisms, mostly aquatic creatures. Sharks and octopus, crocodiles, fish, starfish, seahorse, manta rays. There are some other land-dwelling things down here, but most of them are kept within these glass structures filled with like greenish liquid to preserve them. They seem to, none of them seem to be alive. They seem to just be experimentations. As you wander towards the middle, you notice that there's a big door that leads into what looks to be a very large lab. From what you know about it, this would be the main lab, like the head lab. The main head geneticist would operate within this lab.
Would I know where the area is that controls maybe getting this submerged building back to the top?
You know that it would probably be in the main lab area. The main master geneticist would have access to that.
Just, I guess, head in there.
I'll be keeping an eye out for anything following us or.
As you go in, the lights seem to not be working properly through the rest of the lab. It's sort of flickering in here.
So as it's flickering, I pull out my scepter that I got with the suit, and then I move my hand around on it, and I do magical tinkering. Imbue a tiny non-magical object with a magical property of your choice, and it'll be a 5-foot radius light.
Nice. Okay.
I'll do dancing lights as well. Might as well.
This helps illuminate the lab. You see, there's a huge. It's almost like a lowered structure, like almost like a pit, but it looks like there's many desks and cabinets. This didn't look like this particular part of the thing was always submerged in water. This looked like it was a dry part of the building. On opposite ends of this little thing are two big glass structures with giant cracks in them. Something very large was kept in these vats that is no longer in them.
How big are we talking?
They're roughly 10, maybe 12 feet tall, maybe 7 to 10 feet wide. They look like pillars of glass.
Is
So
the
they've been broken open. Sorry.
Yeah, they've got cracks. in them.
okay? Yeah, that's
Big,
what I
big,
was gonna
large
ask.
cracks. As in, like, the one side on the one is completely gone.
Well, we can't talk to each other, so this is kind of awkward.
Just turn around like this, like
You notice on the opposite end, so there's the big, large glass structure on the left, the big, large glass structure on the right. There seems to be it looks to be some sort of it almost looks like a pool with glass around it. And all the glass in the front has been broken out.
Hmm.
And it's sort of floating around under the water.
I'm gonna be looking around for the area that controls the structure itself.
It's in the main pit area of the lab.
Okay.
You go right in and you see the control panels for basically climate control, structure stability, and all of the mechanical workings of navigating the pod.
Are they shorted out because it's underwater? What?
They don't seem to be illuminated.
Hmm.
So now we just need to find a power source for.
If
Oh,
anything's
yeah.
following us, I want to kind of be ready with thaumaturgy. Is that right?
Thaumaturgy?
Thaumaturgy.
Okay.
If anything, kind of that catches my eye, I'll use the voice boom up to 3 times as loud.
You got it. So you're prepped
Yeah.
to ward off any potential. Got it. What are you doing?
I'll say I'm kind of following Skriz as he seems like he knows kind of what he's doing a little bit. And I think after seeing these giant glass things, I'm gonna unsheath my glaive and just kind of be in a ready action stance.
You got it. How about you?
I kind of want to see if I can, or try and investigate this panel, see if there's anything we can do to get it working.
Making an investigation check.
Okay. 11.
So with that roll, nothing mechanical seems to work.
Okay.
However,
Great.
you see it looks to be some sort of a scientific logbook.
Mhm.
It almost looks magnetically attached to the desk. That's why it hasn't floated away.
Can I attempt to open it up?
Yes, on the outside cover, all it says is Experiment Kraj. Krajj.
Right, I want to look into this thing.
Inside, you see notes and stuff written. They are written in common. They're not hidden or otherwise undecipherable. Talking about the ultimate bioorganic life form. You're having difficulty reading it because it's underwater, but you're able to make out a few words here and there. The book on the inside makes reference to the head scientist, head geneticist, named Mormer Vig.
What is it?
Mormer Vig. Momir. That's his first name. Last name Vig. Vig. But under this depth, with this much strain, and this type of water, sort of saltwaterish, you're not able to really focus on the notes. What do you want to do with the book?
For now, I'll go ahead and take it. I might try and show everybody individually as much as I can, since I can't really relay the information through words.
So you continue to try to find some way to bring the structure back up to the surface, and you're not able to. All the mechanical devices seem to be inoperable. Not that they're shorted out, it's that they're damaged. Very damaged. Your assessment is that whatever happened to the structure, you're not going to be able to move it.
And we still think that it was the pounding of the mana bats against the top of
That
it.
is the theory.
At least with this book, I can't relay that to you guys, but I'm thinking it has something to do with this experiment.
Yeah, looking and seeing like the big glass chambers that are broken, can I look around the room more and see if there's like any signs of like a battle or anything, or like that something was punched open, or
The glass structures look like something definitely broke them, and it wasn't the pressure.
broke out?
You're not sure. All the glass is floating around. You're not sure if it broke in or broke out.
Okay.
Knowing that there's a lot of aquatic life that uses camouflage, can I try and search around and see if there's anything I can notice out of the ordinary. See if there's anything watching us.
Honestly, you noticed nothing out of the ordinary.
Okay.
Even with your previous investigation roll,
Mm-hmm.
every bit of life in this structure seems gone.
Okay.
The only thing that really strikes you odd is that there are no remnants. You would
Mm-hmm.
think that there would be bodies or something of the deceased. There are none. There are no traces.
That
It
just
doesn't,
means
it doesn't
they
look like
eat
there's any sort of
bones.
scuffle, no sort of battle. And if there was, it was over very fast.
Interesting. Well,
I'll probably, if we're done looking around in here, probably start heading back out of the chamber and see if we explore the rest of the place.
yeah, try and explore more of the lab.
You have spent about a half hour in this particular area.
Mm-hmm.
So
we
we got
got
half
30
hour
more
left. So
minutes.
we
Yeah.
gotta do something. So maybe explore on the way back and then get back to the
Mhm.
pod.
Yeah.
You see as you're traveling through, it's just creepy down here. It looks like something that should have been where there should be a lot of life bubbling around and moving around. There's nothing. It's lifeless. It's stillless. You do notice that there are a few of these, like, now that you're kind of looking around, these structures with these other life forms and organisms are kept in these glass jars and chambers. It looks like some of the other ones are broken too. Not a lot, but just a few.
Do they look like they're broken in the same way as the?
It's hard to tell.
Okay.
Because everything's underwater. So you're not sure if they were broken out of or broken into.
I try to give it hand. I feel to the point like we need to get out of here, and I'm just like, and start swimming towards the door to get back to the chamber to.
Okay. So you swim back towards the airlock chamber to get back into the pod chamber. And you reactivate the water pressure switch. The water vacuums out. And you're able to breathe air again.
So we get back to the pod and get out of here.
I mean, I got this this notebook. Being out of the water, can I well, we can try and get back in the pod so I don't waste time.
Yeah,
but
let's get back to the pod and get moving.
yeah,
out of
once
here.
once we're in the pod, I kind of want to try and look at this notebook more.
Okay, so you open up the hatch. You climb down the ladder. You get back into the pod. You're able to wave your little control thing, and it seems to activate almost like an eye sensor or something. The pod chamber itself, once you're in an airtight, fills back up with water, and the dome and the bay door opens back up, and you're able to exit. You're back out into the depths.
Start boogieing as fast as I can. Just start going, ascending up towards the.
Going back towards the chamber.
I don't know. Do we want to go to the chamber, or do we want to get?
You got to kind of go through the chamber to get back out of the cave.
Okay, yeah, let's do that.
So you descend back up where you descended and start to rise back out of this cave, avoiding the rock structures as you get up. There's more and more of them. You get to almost back where you started. And you're looking through the book. Anything? Are you guys talking to each other while any of this is happening?
Probably just ask about the book and
I'll go ahead and read it out loud
Yeah.
since
I
everybody
am
else is
more
interested.
concentrating on getting
You're
us-
driving.
Yeah, he's
Got it.
driving, but I'll go ahead and read what I can out loud.
So you're kind of flipping through it. A lot of it's very complicated. It's some science that you don't really understand, some biogeneticism. But this Mormorvig kind of goes on these rants talking about the ultimate genetic life form and that he's found the key to sustaining the ultimate life form. It all boils down to this life form becoming the most dominant species on the planet.
Oh,
And that it should and will consume all other things.
that's a good sign.
There are some diagrams of his discovery of this particular organism as originally being some sort of fertilizer to help sustain the growth and nourishment of plants, to make them bear more fruit or to grow faster. As different sorts of genetic material were introduced to this substance, it had different reactions. it began to consume the living and corrupted plants, killing them, almost infecting them with a blight.
So he brings that up, and once he brings that up, Screws goes, "Are we supposed to be looking into like a dead tree?"
I was thinking the same thing. Could be related.
Yeah, in the Selesnya, they're having dead trees. That's a little ways away, though.
No, but like maybe we put stuff together.
Well, everything so far has been connected.
That's
so
true.
I wouldn't be surprised.
So I'm curious if there's a way through the water source that it would get over into the Selesnian area.
I mean, I'm sure these waterways go for quite a long way, so it's possible.
They just told you that the history that you know is that these aqueducts, these sinkholes, there are several of them. They refer to this one as Zonnet 7. That would lead you to believe that there are at least 6 other ones that are somewhere within the world, but none of them seem to be within the 10th district. You've never seen one. You've never heard of one. This is the only one that you've known of. As you're sort of having this conversation, you feel something bump into your pod.
Oh.
I mean, it's something that feels like aggressively slams into the side of your pod. It pushes the pod up against the rock structures, and you hear the sounds of metal on rock and sort of a scraping sound as you're being pushed. You look over to the side, and you see this large pair of yellow eyes, this big gullet of almost like a toad-like creature with long arms and a tail, whipping and pushing you up against this rock structure.
No.
And that's where we're going to end the night.
Must go faster.
I was gonna say, my shark fin moves a little.
I sharded myself.
I knew it was coming. I was just wondering when.
So that's where we're going to end. Thanks everybody for tuning in, that tuned in and watched and commented and liked our stuff. We appreciate all of you. We're going to be at Lootbox Games in Reynoldsburg on Tuesday doing another Learn to Play. So if you were in the area of Reynoldsburg, Ohio, come check it out. Big shout out to them for all the support and of our show and our podcast and of what we do. Next week is Thanksgiving. We should be here. We hope all of you will be here. And if not, have a safe holiday and we will catch you the following week. Have a good rest of your weekend.
Deuces.